Messi, good to see you. How you doing? How you been? Joe, good to see you as well. Evening, how you doing? Tor, good to see you as well. Evening, how you doing? How you been? Troy, good to see you as well. How you doing? Hello, brother Miles and CMF Comatose, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Hi, Mags. How you doing today? I'm doing great, Mike. Good to see you as well, brother. How you been? Hi, Nini. How you doing? Okay, so by the time everyone tunes in one by one, I'll do a gist of what we're going to talk about tonight's live show. So we have quite a mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show regarding Coinbase and some actually quite a lot of partnerships happening as well. We have to go through all burned in the Caribbean Islands. Let's go tour. So the gist of what we're going to be talking about tonight's live show, I'll go through right now, and by that time everyone's tuned in after the disclaimer and the intro. So on tonight's live show, we are going to be talking about Coinbase and how they're launching new smart wallets. And it's going to have some options, the smart wallets that Coinbase is launching, which is good for developers, but also good for the users who are on board in cryptocurrency and people who use it all the time. We're also going to be talking about Turkey on tonight's live show as well. Turkey is not going to be taxing crypto, apparently. Turkey is going to be lenient on crypto taxes for the time being. Then we're going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding NOT, which is the token that essentially I told everybody regarding Telegram founder of the NOT token is launching, and Telegram's own chain regarding TON. It's doing quite incredibly well for itself. We'll go through his perspectives and what he's going to be thinking about doing, Telegram's founder essentially with NOT. Then we're going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding Polkadot. Polkadot has essentially launched in Hong Kong. They've launched new features in Hong Kong to expand their range, which is good for Polkadots, essentially, to be honest, and the user base. We're also going to talk about the SEC Gary Gensler on tonight's live show as well. He did recently, well, the same timing that Mike Novoskont did an interview with Bloomberg, Brad did an interview with CNBC, Gary Gensler also decided to do essentially an interview with CNBC to give his perspectives on how things are moving forward. And essentially, they went through quite a range of topics regarding ETFs, regarding what he thinks is going to happen next, and so on. So we go through what he said. We're also going to be talking about Paxos. Paxos was the company behind BUSD, essentially Binance's stablecoin, even though Binance claims it wasn't theirs when the court papers came through. But Paxos is launching a new type of dollar, a stablecoin dollar, which we're going to go through on tonight's live show as well. Also, we're going to be talking about Tether on tonight's live show as well. They've recently made quite a bit of an investment into cross-border payments. Tether is now getting more involved into cross-border payments. So they recently made quite a bit of an investment. We'll go through their company that they invested into. We're also going to be talking about tonight's live show regarding JP Morgan and how JP Morgan's analyst has came out and said that the event could shift the balance in Bitcoin mining is near. Some major things apparently happening Bitcoin mining that JP Morgan's analyst wanted to alert everyone about. We'll go through his perspectives. We're also going to be going through the perspectives of Franklin Templeton's CEO today as well, and how he sees a new wave of Bitcoin ETF adoptions is on the way. And also Franklin Templeton's CEO said that the money that entered ETFs was a small amount. More money's on the way. We're going to corporate sector. We're also going to talk about tonight's live show regarding Binance. Now, I've never heard of a crypto project suing an exchange for getting delisted. Today's the first time I'm hearing about this. Honestly, I've never heard of any crypto project suing exchanges that delist them. But Binance, Kraken, and a few other exchanges are getting sued at the exact same time from this token creator because they delisted their projects. This is a first definitely inside the crypto space on that matter. We're also going to be going through regarding the Bitcoin price rises after Bank of Canada interest rates are essentially below 5%. Canada's central bank basically just cut their benchmarks of their interest rates. Because of that, the market is reacting. We're also going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding Ripple XRP's announcement of a new collaboration. Ripple has just announced a new collaboration with a payments network. We're also going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding Ripple's president and how she thinks XRP would make a lot of sense as an ETF. We're also going to be going through tonight's live show regarding Van Eck and how they're predicting essentially a $22,000 target for Ethereum. We're also going to be going through on tonight's live show regarding Saudi Arabia, because Saudi Arabia has now just joined the Bank of International Settlements, China, Hong Kong, and a few other countries for cross-border payments. The UAE was a few days ago. They joined as well with Mbridge, and China essentially, and Saudi Arabia, Hong Kong, Thailand, a lot of countries are coming together for cross-border payments now. The list is growing for cross-border payments. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding Australia and how Australia is talking about everything inside the corporate sector should be done in wholesale CBDCs, which will benefit a few projects. Actually, not few, just one. Only one project does CBDCs. I've said this before, what that project is. Also on tonight's live show, we're going to go through an interesting bit of news regarding earning a wage inside the metaverse. So apparently you can earn a wage inside the metaverse from IKEA now. IKEA is going to be paying people wages for living in the metaverse. We're also going to be talking about on tonight's live show regarding a private firms. Right now, the Bank of International Settlements, which is essentially global CBD, they have many global CBDC projects. The Bank of International Settlements is telling other private companies to now get involved in wholesale CBDCs. And believe me, these companies will listen because it's the Bank of International Settlements. You can't get much more of a stronger voice than them, especially when it involves money. So, quite a bit of mixture of news to go through on tonight's live show. A lot of things to cover on tonight's live show regarding partnerships, perspectives, announcements, suings. A lot of things to go through on tonight's live show. But before we go through any of that, let's go inside the comment section first, and then I will do the disclaimer, and then the intro, and then we go right into it. So, let's go inside the comment section first. Let's see where we were. We were here. Camel, good to see you, brother. How you doing? Big news day. Yes, we have a lot of news to go from tonight's live show. Hello, Miles. Up, down, or sideways? It's looking. I told you sideways and up. I'll still say the same thing by the looks of it. Good evening, Miles and all CMF. JP, good to see you. How you doing? Evening, Miles and CMF. Semper, good to see you. How you doing? I'm moving to Turkey. Okay, Messi. That's because of the tax-free situation. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Sam, good to see you. How you doing? Hit the like. Let's go, Messi. Hey, Miles, how are you? I'm doing great, K-Love. Good to see you as well. How you doing? Thoughts on BlackRock open their own stock market? It's an interesting perspective that they are looking into it. I mean, they can, if they wanted to, they can get green light to pretty much for anything they want, to be fair. Is it ENG coin tool? What is... Oh, regarding the coin that's doing the suings? No, it's not ENG. Evening, Miles and CMF. Pierce, good to see you. How you doing? Today's fire. Let's go, Carol. Morning, Miles and family. Hope you're having a good week, Miles. Shelly, good to see you. How you doing? Morning. Best live show on X. Let's go. FleeXRP. Let's go. Thanks so much for the kind words. Let's go. What's up, brother Miles and CMF Below? Good to see you. How you doing? How's everyone? Doing great. Let's go. About time we got something right, lol, regarding the Australian news. We're going to go through that as well. Hi, Miles and CMF. George, let's go. How you doing? Saudi Arabia 50-year oil contract with the USA ends June 9th. Thank you for the update, Messi, on that. If you know, you know, is what Cameron said. Good evening, Miles and CMF. Free and forever. Good to see you. How you doing? Regarding XRP, if you know, you know. Hi, Miles. No more TikTok. How much more can ONDO go? Still a good project. ONDO is a very good project, and it can go a bit even further than we're sitting on right now. I mean, we are essentially pending inside the crypto space for part 2 of the bull run, which is utility. And ONDO has utility, to be, precisely correct. ONDO does have utility in lending and borrowing. Now, that's as long as their CEO sticks to their plan of keep on doing the correct investments, then they're going to do quite well. If he sidetracks, then that project will fail. Hoping he doesn't sidetrack. And regarding TikTok, no more TikTok lives. For 70, this is 77. So this is the CMF live show episode 77. So 77 days back to back, we've been doing live shows on X and YouTube now. This is the 77th day, and every day we do one. So yeah, no, we're sticking to X and YouTube because we have freedom of speech. On TikTok, when you talk about CBDCs, they try to cut your video. So on live, you can't talk about CBDCs and some other topics. So I'd rather, episode 78. Thank you, Shelly, for that. Episode 78. Thank you for correcting me. This is episode 78 of the CMF live show. And no, we're not going to take TikTok anymore. So because they won't let me talk about CBDCs, which I don't understand about that at all. Now, Welcome to the CMF live show. If you're watching this for the first time ever, we talk about cryptocurrencies on this live show. We talk about recent news that's going around the world in terms of cryptocurrencies, CBDCs, AI, regulations, politics, everything that you should know about going inside of this digital world. We also do Q&As as well on this live show as well, which means you ask the questions inside the comment section and I give you the answers. And the disclaimer of this live show, as always, is not financial advice, not political advice, and whatever I say is only for entertainment purposes. So, welcome to CMF Live Show. If you're new and if you're regular, let's go CMF. The live show has officially started now. And the first news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding Coinbase. They're launching a new wallet, which is going to make life apparently easier for everybody with this new Coinbase wallet. Not just for the users, but also for the developers, apparently. It's a new milestone Coinbase is doing. A new achievement is what they're saying, essentially. It's also good for the Coinbase stock, to be fair, with all these advancements they're doing. But before I go through the first news, let me see what's inside the comment section. Hey, Miles, how are you doing? I'm doing great, Daniel. Good to see you as well. Hey, Miles, how are you? Woodhouse, good to see you as well, brother. How you doing? Hi, Miles and CMF. Dennis, good to see you as well. How you doing? Sorry, I made it slightly late. My apologies. No problem, Woodhouse. Good to see you. Okay, the first news on tonight's live show is Coinbase. Coinbase launches essentially smart wallets to simplify crypto onboarding. Coinbase Coin announced the launch of its highly anticipated smart wallets, aiming to revolutionize the user experience for crypto newcomers, but also people who use their wallets on a regular basis as well, not just for newcomers, but for everybody. What happens? So this new feature promises to address a long-standing pain points within the crypto sector, especially regarding complex onboarding processes, network fees, and recovery phrases. Apparently, you can skip on network fees with this new Coinbase wallet. However, there's a catch. So this is what Coinbase said. These next-generation wallet addresses the biggest pain points of the crypto experience today, the company stated in a blog post. Smart wallets make the transition to on-chain smoother than ever. Effortless onboarding. Coinbase touts its smart wallets as a solution to the cumbersome onboarding process often associated with crypto wallets. Users can now create a secure self-custody wallet just in a few seconds without needing to download a separate apps or struggle with recovery phrases. Biometric authentication like Face ID or fingerprint scanners will be available for logins. Saying goodbye to gas fees, apparently, on Coinbase Wallet, you can say goodbye to gas fees. However, the new update, basically. However, there's a catch. So, another feature is the elimination of gas fees, a major barrier to entry for many potential crypto users. Coinbase states that developers can choose to sponsor transactions, offering a gasless experience for their customers. So in other words, the developer can cover. So let's say a crypto project comes out. The developers of that particular crypto project can opt in to pay for the gas fees. If anybody does that, then yes, it would be a gasless experience. So it would be good if Ethereum does this with their ridiculous fees. But cross-app probability and a dedicated web app. Smart wallets also boost cross-app probability, allowing users to seamlessly navigate different on-chain applications with their wallet and balances, so you can switch between chains much more easier. Additionally, a champion of web app will serve as a central hub for managing assets, identities, and transaction history, so you can essentially use your desktops to view your wallets with a better UI. Benefits for developers. Coinbase is also courting developers with its smart wallet technology. Integration is set to be straightforward, and existing Coinbase wallet SDKs can be easily updated. Developers who integrate smart wallets can qualify for benefits such as base gasless campaigns, offering gas fee sponsorships for users, and the base build a foundation essentially with Ethereum ETH rewards for successful integrations. Focus on user adoption. The overall focus of Coinbase's smart wallets appears to be on the driving user adoption within the crypto space. By simplifying onboarding, eliminating gas fees, and offering a more user-friendly experience, Coinbase hopes to attract a broader audience to participate in decentralized applications, dApps, and Web3 functionalities. So, apparently, Coinbase is introducing a new feature where you can skip on gas fees, basically crypto tax. But you can skip on gas fees if you use Coinbase's new updated wallet. But the only issue is that's only if the developers of that particular project on the base network only, so it's only gasless on the base network, by the way, essentially, cover the costs for the transactions. Now, I don't know any company possibly that's going to be saying, yes, we want to cover the transaction costs for all of our users. If they do, their project will definitely grow a lot more quicker, to be fairly honest. If they do cover the gas fees, their project, if it's a genuine project, it's not a bad idea. It's actually a great marketing tool. Gasless transactions, I think everyone will jump on that. But that does depend on the project itself if they want to do that. And it has to be on the base network. So this is Coinbase's way of saying, base network is better than other chains out there because people can skip on gas fees. It's a great feature, but there's just something missing, which is developers might not like this idea of covering costs. But a great idea, but it's just missing something. It's not there yet, is what I would say on this idea. Now, Turkey is the next news we're going to go from tonight's live show. Turkey denies, essentially, plans to tax crypto stock gains. Turkey has dismissed plans to impose taxes on profits from stocks and cryptocurrencies, but suggested a very limited levier on transactions. So apparently Turkey is not going to be taxing, essentially, crypto projects for the time being, and stocks and so on. Just for the time being, a very limited time they're giving. Which a lot of people might say this is great, but what Turkey is actually going to do is let everybody on board into the crypto space. And by the way, if you're thinking Turkey is not that big in crypto, Turkey is one of the major countries in the crypto space. Their transaction volumes are higher than majority of the countries around the world. So, and that's only because their Turkish lira is not valuable. That's why Turkish citizens would rather prefer using USDT. But Turkey's massive, but Turkey's only doing this so that later on they're probably going to introduce a heavy tax. First, they want to get everybody inside of crypto, and then the taxing comes through. Most likely it's going to be a heavy tax. So, according to Bloomberg, Treasury and Finance Minister Mehmet said during an interview in Ankara that the government is considering a very limited transaction tax on the assets. Our aim is to leave no area untaxed in order to provide justice and effectiveness in taxations. Without specifying its potential size, in 2008, Turkey reduced its tax rate on stock market profits from 10% to 0%. Bloomberg reported on June 4th that authorities in the country were planning to impose a tax on gains from stocks and cryptocurrency trading. During a meeting over the weekend, Minister Simic reportedly stressed the importance of properly taxing all financial incomes. As of now, Turkey does not have a specified regulation in place to tax cryptocurrencies. However, the country is actively working to establish a legal framework for digital assets. On May 16th, Turkey's ruling party introduced a new bill to regulate the crypto markets. The bill requires crypto businesses to get licensings and follow international standards, such as being regulated by the capital markets on board. The legislation also mandatory revenue collections from crypto space provides a ban on the foreign crypto brokers to foster a locally regulated ecosystem, according to their local media reports. The move seeks to address Financial Action Task Force and concerns and expels the country from the regulator's grey list. Turkey has a significant presence in the global cryptocurrency markets. This is what I meant about regarding how big Turkey is inside the crypto sector. Turkey has a significant presence in the global cryptocurrency markets, ranking fourth. They're ranking fourth worldwide in estimated trading volumes according to Chainalysis data. The country's trading volume estimated at $170 billion, surpassing economics like Russia, Canada, Vietnam, Thailand, and Germany, just to put in perspective. Turkish crypto holders have prohibited from making payments using cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin since 2021, but they're still very, very big inside the crypto space. That is absolutely ridiculous. And they were bringing in transaction volumes like that in 2023, $170 billion. But yeah, Turkey is going to be introducing a tax-free situation. I think some countries might follow Turkey in this suit, but then later on do heavy taxes. So they get everybody through the door. It's a sales tactic. Essentially, get the customer through the door, and then, make them spend, is what basically Turkey is doing. Turkey is going to still leave crypto in the tax-free zone area, and then later on tax the hell out of people when there's more people inside of it, when everybody's adapted to it pretty much. But Japan did the same thing. So there's a possibility of Japan doing it later on as well. I revealed the news to everybody on this live show regarding Japan trying to compete with Singapore and Dubai regarding their tax-free situations and so on, their grey areas. So Japan's doing the same thing as well. Now Turkey is following in suit, which is good. Grows the adoption, but then later on, those people are going to get heavily taxed. So the next news to go through on tonight's live show is regarding fourfold to increase the value of its NOT tokens. So Telegram's founder essentially has their own project regarding TON, which they started that project, then dropped it to not get sued by the SEC, and then they later on partnered with the same project TON. And TON chain essentially has one token by the name of NOT. They have many projects, but one is by the name of NOT, which I recently talked about on this live show when NOT essentially launched. Telegram has about 900 million users, and I said that Telegram's founder essentially received a huge amount of NOT tokens, and he said he's never selling them until they get to a value of $680 million. So he said he's holding them until they get to a value of $680 million. NOT tokens value of his portfolio has grew to $24 million so far, and he's not selling at all. He's holding until $680 million. So that's what people are, counting on when they're buying NOT token essentially. But we're going to go through his perspectives, and regarding Turkey's news, it's quite bullish. It's going to grow the adoption even more coming in the volume from Turkey. But later on, those people are going to get taxed heavily. But good for the time being. Regarding Turkey's news, so bullish for the time being. Now, before I go through that news, let's go to that comment section first. Let me see. Did you get around to posting the Taking the Profits PDF? I didn't get around. No, tomorrow. Apologies. There's so many things going on. Today was the busiest day I've had. Yesterday was extremely busy as well. Tomorrow is extremely busy as well. And it's my father's birthday at the same time. Tomorrow I have so much work, so much meetings to go to. At the same time, it's my father's birthday. There's a lot of things happening. But tomorrow I'll try to get the Telegram, the PDFs out. Every day the meetings are just getting more and more. The phone calls are getting more and more. A lot of things are happening. A lot of things are in process. But tomorrow I'll try. Tomorrow I'm going to do it. Don't worry. Developers might go for paying gases at the beginning to get the coin going. Not sure if they're capable. Yeah, to be fair. Wallet Miles and family. Ray, good to see as well how you're doing. But maybe opt out of paying gas fees after it's going. Yeah. Why do you think that? Regarding them taxed later. Regarding them getting taxed later. Why do I think Turkey is going to become tax-free just for now and then tax people later? Well, because we live in a world where greed is the number one thing. So it goes greed and then everything else below it. Unfortunately, it's not God first and then family and so on. It's more like greed first in the world that we live in. So knowing that we live in a greedy world, they're going to be tax-free now, and then later on they're going to tax the hell out of those people. They're just trying to grow the adoption, which is good, but then those people later on will get taxed heavy. But for the rest of the world, we're good because, one, we're not in that country. If you are, you're probably going to get taxed later. But it's going to grow the adoption for the crypto space. That part is good for us. Sometimes something benefits someone and it doesn't really benefit the other person. In this case, we're benefiting. I heard that today Turkey is going to be a member of the BRICS. Saudi Arabia. Well, yes, Turkey. I announced it 2-3 days ago on this live show that Turkey is going to be a member of BRICS as well. I heard, yeah. There. Okay, so what about Dubai? Now, Dubai, there's a possibility of taxing people later as well. They're not going to be tax-free for the rest of eternity. They will become some sort of tax later on. I'll give you an example. Dubai never taxed real estate agents, pretty much, at the early days. As time goes by, they started taxing real estate agents, about 9%, I think it was, roughly. Now it's about 9%, if I'm not mistaken. But in the early days, there was no tax. So they can keep it tax-free for God knows how many years. But after that, they'll start taxing people. That was one example regarding real estate agents. In the early days, they paid no tax. Later on, tax came through. Hi, Miles. Jim, good to see you. How you doing? XRP vast movement will occur 2025, i.e. institutional investments. No, it's going to be this year as well. I'll give you an example when we get to that Ripple news as well regarding the investments in institutionals. Now, so Pavel. Pavel, essentially Telegram's founder. Pavel has announced a fourfold increase in the value of his NOT tokens. The value of 1 billion NOT tokens were given to Pavel, the founder of Telegram, 2 weeks ago. So people actually donated to Telegram's founder. By the way, Telegram's founder is like a millionaire to a billionaire, but people still donated to him, not tokens. Now, Pavel, according to the founder of Telegram, has increased his fourfold from $6 million to $24 million. Listings for NOT were made on major cryptocurrency exchanges on May 16th when I announced the news. Users sent about 1 billion NOT tokens to the following day to the Pavel. According to the NOT Coins team, reports on the gaming Web3 projects announcing his plan to spend the coins until their value reaches $680 million. So that is the entire basis of why people are going for NOT token, because the founder of Telegram won't sell his tokens either. The same way Dogecoin has Elon Musk, for example, NOT token has Pavel, the founder of Telegram. The entrepreneur made his intentions known after that Telegram's founder intends to purchase more servers to use with the messenger as well. According to Pavel, Notecoin became one of the 5 most traded cryptocurrencies on the planet yesterday, June 3rd, when this daily trading volume hit $4 billion. He claims that millions of people have profited from Notecoin's mini app on Telegram and are unfounded. What he means by that is the same way there's an application right now everybody probably has used or heard of called Pi token or Pi coin. So if you're inside the crypto space, you most likely heard about Pi coin, which is this app that you open up, you press mine Pi, and then you exit the app. Well, Notcoin was a similar app like that, like Pi coin, where people will open the app or this mini game on Telegram and just tap on the screen and mint Not tokens. What actually happened was that particular app, actually the coin came out. So Notcoin, the coin actually came out, unlike Pi and everybody else's, B token or ICE token, all these apps that people downloaded and pressed, mine token. You never know, some of them later on can be released as well. But Not token was similar to those apps. But Not token got released on major exchanges, Binance and so on, and Crypto.com and so on. So, the founder of Telegram is pretty much the man behind it, just like Elon Musk is behind Dogecoin. He's just sponsoring it as well. Now, according to the entrepreneur, they are still receiving more fundings as well. More people are still donating to him. Just 1 month ago, Notcoin had the biggest cryptocurrency community that social media has ever seen. Similar mini applications on Telegram that enable tens of millions of users to benefit that are only projects that rival the Notcoin community today. According to Pavel, quotes for Not reached a new all-time high of 2 cents on June 2nd. The token's price has increased by 120% in the last week. As reported by CoinGecko, Not a trading is essentially at 21 right now. As of this writing, we would like to remind you that Notcoin introduced a new kind of mission for Not passive income at the end of May by interacting with the apps and communities. Our partner projects on social media users can earn rewards. Market for digital currencies, because of the incident that caused Notcoin deposits to be delayed on that day of listings, Bybit has received a compensation plan to help customers who were impacted. Users were unable to sell their tokens immediately after receiving them due to communications and technical issues. When the token did launch, a lot of people did receive their Not coins as real coins to spend or to keep. And there was some delays going on, some issues going on at that particular time, but the coin still became real after the game, which was quite interesting. Now, if you're wondering why didn't you know about it, or why did I know about it, because it was only available in a select few countries, to be fairly honest. I think it was 1 Latin American country or 2 Latin American countries that was available at the beginning, and also just 2-3 African nations. That's pretty much it. It wasn't like a worldwide type of situation. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Polkadot. And by the way, Notcoin I think came down a little bit. But anyways, Polkadot. Polkadot launches a Polka port east in Hong Kong. So Polkadot is doing advancements in Hong Kong right now. Their Web3 Foundation is getting grants and they're expanding themselves in Hong Kong. If you're holding Polkadot, this is good for that basis. But they are definitely expanding themselves in Hong Kong, which again is great, not just for Polkadot, but for the adoption rate of the entire crypto space, to be honest. Now, before I go through the Polkadot news, let's go inside the comment section first, and then we go through that. Their stock is up $7. Let's go, JP. We're going to Coinbase. Developers might go for paying their gas at the beginning to get the coin. Not sure if capable yet, but maybe Ray, good to see you. How you doing? What do you think of that? We were here. Okay, we were here. They're saying tax-free for now. After, when they're sitting on profits about to sell, they're saying law has changed. Now you pay 50% tax. this is a trap. Regarding what they do in Turkey, yes. 1 to 9% based on profits. 1 to 9% based on profits. I have a company over there. Okay, so 1 to 9 based on profits. ACH news miles. We don't have any ACH news, but we have Ripple news, we have partnership news, we have Franklin Templar news to go through, we have adoption news to go through, we have Bank of International Settlements news to go through, and some interesting news at the end of the live show as well. So quite a lot of mixture of news to go through still. Good morning, Professor Miles and CMF family. Good to see you. How you doing, Frankie brother? What have I missed, Brother Miles? Do I need to buy more XRP? Is this settlement done? The settlement's not done yet. But we'll get to Ripple news as well. So, Polkadot. Polkadot launches a Polka port east in Hong Kong. The Web3 Foundation, which supports the growth of the Polkadot ecosystem, has awarded a grant to Polkaport East. The Decentralized Futures DF grant aims to advance the decentralization of Polkadot while promoting technical development, community engagements, and broader ecosystem adoption. Polkaport East operates independently and focuses on investor relations and growing initiatives for Polkadot in Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. Notably, this grant from the Web3 Foundation marks the first award given to an organization working in Asia. Polkadot East driving Polkadot's growth in Asia. The Web3 Foundation has awarded a grant to Polkaport East to support its missions on leading investor relations and growing initiatives in Polkadot's Asia. This decentralized DF grant aims to promote Polkadot's technology and increase decentralization while attracting capital into the ecosystem. Max Rubble, the co-founder of Polkaport East and CEO of Harbor Industrials Capital, emphasized the significance of this initiative for Polkadot's decentralization efforts in Hong Kong. Another co-founder leading strategy for Bitforest highlighted the DF grant will help Polkaport East leverage innovation hubs in Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area, fostering relationships with local governments, enterprises, and capital allocators. Polkadot is getting involved quite heavily in Hong Kong by the looks of it, which could do well for their token. Based on their adoption rate, they could do well because they're getting involved with locals, they're getting involved with governments in Hong Kong, they're getting involved with enterprises and capital allocators. Vincent Chan, the third co-founder and former growth lead at Pyro Technologies, outlined Polkadot's East plans to engage Asian participants in the Polkadot ecosystem. This includes attracting project developers, Polkadot native venture capitalists, and Web3 investors, as well as collaborating with blockchain collectives, fintechs, and local governments interested in blockchain technology. David Hong, the director of ecosystems at Web3 Foundation, expressed enthusiasm for supporting Polkadot East. Through the DF grant, he emphasized the initiative's role in advancing decentralized access and innovative within Polkadot, enhancing connectivity and empowering the community in Hong Kong towards a decentralized internet version. Based in Hong Kong, Polkadot East plays a crucial role in fostering the adoption of Polkadot's ecosystem across Asia, particularly in Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. Collaborating with developers, investors, and various entities, Polkadot East aims to accelerate the adoption of Web3 technology and onboarding new users to Polkadot. So that's one particular crypto project we basically never talk about on this live show because we've never had any sort of major things come out of it. Because they've had major things in the past. They've had their contracts in the past and so on. But they've been very silent on developments moving forward. But this is a big adventure for them, and I hope it does very well for Polkadot, and anybody that's holding Polkadot is definitely going to be growing their adoption rates without a doubt. They're getting involved with quite a lot of entities in Hong Kong, including governments, locals, venture capitalists, and so on. Money allocators, let's say. But yeah, it's going to grow the adoption for Polkadot in Hong Kong, but it's also going to bring that adoption coming in on cryptocurrencies as well. Now, the next news to go through on tonight's live show is SEC Gary Gensler. Yesterday, we had Brad go on CBNC and give his perspectives on the market space. We also had Mike Novoscott on Bloomberg giving his perspectives on crypto space. Now we have Gary Gensler. I think Gary Gensler just needed to do an interview because those two people did an interview. To be fairly honest, because Brad did his interview with CNBC yesterday. Mike Novoscott did his interview live with Bloomberg yesterday. And now Gary Gensler has done his interview with CNBC today to give his perspectives based on probably what those two said. But we're going to go through it now. Okay, so SEC Chairman Gary Gensler says disclosures not enough to protect crypto exchanges. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission Chairman Gary Gensler said that the federal securities agents may continue bringing enforcement actions against crypto exchanges, even if the platforms disclose their products risk to retail investors. I saw recently a video of a crypto influencer talking about this, but she got the story wrong. I'm not going to name who this person was, this particular crypto influencer, but this particular crypto influencer understood the story wrong. So she made a video about essentially how this is Gary Gensler fixated on something else, not on securities and so on. But in reality, no. Gary Gensler is still fixated on securities, but he's also now fixated on crypto platforms that put disclosures at the top and say, not financial advice, take a 2-minute survey, understand what cryptocurrencies are. Gary Gensler is saying, even if you do that and you still, go sideways, we're still coming after you. Just because you say not financial advice, but then you give financial advice, it doesn't, exit it out. It doesn't, cross it out because you put a disclosure at the top of your application. So in case you still tell people to buy something, even if you have a not financial advice sign, that doesn't mean anything, is what he's trying to say. In a CNBC interview, Gary Gensler said crypto exchanges with disclosures aren't immune to being sued by regulators if they are manipulating the market space. The companies are also not protected from lawsuits if they publicize misleading information that leads traders to pour money into their products they otherwise wouldn't invest in, he said. Disclosures don't necessarily protect a bad actor, Gary Gensler said. They can't just simply disclose that away. Gensler said that the most crypto companies still do not issue disclosures at all. He told CNBC interviewers that crypto exchanges have long operated in ways in which trading platforms in traditional financial markets would never be allowed to act, which is true up to a certain extent. Regarding stock market obviously not being complete resemblance of what the crypto market is, the SEC has cracked down on digital asset industries in recent years, particularly since the collapse of crypto exchange FTX. The agency has sued Kraken, Binance, and is still pursuing a civil case against the US's largest crypto exchange by daily trading volumes, Coinbase. He adds that the SEC's role is to guarantee investors have disclosures that the exchanges are properly regulated to prevent fraud, market manipulation, and avoid trading against their customers. And those crypto exchanges, Jim, are doing things we would never allow this in New York, the stock exchange, to do. Our laws don't allow you to trade against your customers. So Gary Gensler is now also basing his arguments that the crypto exchanges are betting against their customers. That's true. However, to say that doesn't happen inside the stock market is ludicrous. Wall Street bets against you as well. I'll give you a very recent example. So there's a guy by the name of Roaring Kitty. He came back. He tweeted out he's brought GMC coins, or GME coins. And then the retail section decided to buy GME because Roaring Kitty has tweeted it out. So the retail section decides to buy on the markets, on the stock markets. What happens? The stock gets halted about a few times. Who did that? Wall Street. So the ideology of Wall Street doesn't bet against their customers is ludicrous, because they do. A recent example was that. We could go with more examples from Wall Street. Wall Street is the most shadiest place you can go to. And I'm from the corporate sector, and the corporate sector is also shady as well. But Wall Street is the most shadiest place you can go to. The most dodgiest place you can be is Wall Street. You might think the crypto space is dodgy, but it's minuscule compared to the shadiness that goes inside Wall Street. So his ideology of, essentially crypto exchanges and so on, they bet against their customers. They do. Of course they do. It's called business. The house has to always win. But to say the stock exchange doesn't do the same thing is absolutely ludicrous. Furthermore, Gensler mentions that bankruptcy cases in crypto, although he doesn't name specific companies or their former executives. The SEC chairman hints that this remark only applies to Do Kwon's former Terraform Labs CEO, who's facing an extradite to essentially the United States. So the CEO of Terraform Labs is obviously still in motion of, is he going to be deported to the US or is he going to be going back to South Korea? Is what's going on right now, is what he's essentially mentioning. Now, some of the leading lights, this is what he also said, some of the leading lights in this field are either in jail, is what Gary Gensler said, or about to go to jail. So Gary Gensler came out and essentially said that some people inside the crypto space already in jail, which they are. FTX is in jail, essentially. CZ recently went in, and he said there's others who are about to go to jail or waiting for extradition, which is the CEO of Terraform Labs. His sub-minimal situation for investors. He also said, you are investing in a field right now that you are not getting the proper disclosures. Concludes Gensler's on the next crypto ETF topics. The reason why we don't have regulations is you're the problem, Gary. Okay, stop blaming the crypto space. You have no rules whatsoever. And you won't even, come to the idea of maybe I should create new rules. No, you want to apply the same rules that were applied in 1980s. SEC Chairman Gary Gensler was questioned also on CNBC on the street about the possible approval of exchange-traded funds ETFs. Now, this is where the questions become absurd, because Jim Cramer, essentially, was the person interviewing Gary Gensler. Now, if you don't know who Jim Cramer is, essentially, the reason why I call him Jim Cramer, because everything he says, pretty much the opposite happens inside the crypto space. But he asked the most ridiculous questions. He said, we know that there's Bitcoin ETFs. We know that there's Ethereum ETFs. What about a bonk ETF? What about, a Shiba Inu ETF and so on? So meme coin ETFs in the US. Jim Cramer said on one of the show's hosts highlighted how multiple tokens registered millions in trading volume this very morning, and questioned if the US shouldn't have some sort of products to capture this volume. He said, let me say something more broadly about crypto markets, Gary Gensler said. Right now, we were prejudging anyone. Right now, without prejudging anyone, these tokens, whether the ones Jim listed or other tokens, have not given you the disclosures that not only do they need to make your investment decisions, but also are required by law, said Gary Gensler. So in response, he said, no, we're not going to be introducing a bonk ETF. He didn't even bother answering the question. He answered his question with another question and a statement. But interesting question to ask. Gary Gensler has a hard time approving, Ethereum ETFs, never mind bonk ETFs. But that's when you have a host like Jim Cramer, who asks the most dumbest questions to the chairman of the SEC. Essentially, will we have a bonk ETF? That would be a day, wouldn't it? Now, Paxos is the next news to go from tonight's live show. Paxos yield bearing lift dollar stablecoin, but there's a catch. Paxos is the same company that was behind Binance's BUSD. They have quite a few stablecoins and a gold stablecoin as well. But now they're coming out with a new feature and a new type of stablecoin, which is also what Vanik is working on as well. So 3.0 type of stablecoin. But something interesting that they're doing regarding their stablecoin is that one, is built on Ethereum, and two, they don't want to launch it in particular countries because it might be on the securities. So we'll go through their perspective. But before we do that, I'm going to say a comment section first. Do I need to buy more XRP and so on? Not. Miles, what can XRP reach in initial pump? $5 is easy. Hello, Miles and CMF. G, good to see you as well. How you doing? Bye, Kevin. Even in Miles and CMF, sorry I'm late. What news have I missed? Jason, we went through quite a bit of news, but at the end of the live show, I'll do a gist. A few other people tuning in a bit late as well, but good to see you, brother. If you don't know who Jim is, don't worry, you're not missing anything, though. Yeah, regarding Jim. Now, Paxos. Paxos has launched a yield-bearing lift dollar stablecoin, but there's a catch. Paxos International, a branch of Paxos based in the United Arab Emirates, has introduced a new yield-bearing stablecoin named Lift Dollar. USDL is what they're calling it. The name suits it regarding USDL because this stablecoin is a massive L. Designed to offer a risk-free return to its owners, the stablecoin has been launched in Argentina with an intention to expand in more countries in the future. However, there's a caveat of residents of several countries, including the United States, who cannot use the USDL due to legal restrictions. Because the overview of the Lift Dollar USDL. USDL is built on Ethereum's blockchain. And because they're doing yield bearings, they might fall under securities. Their stablecoin might fall under some sort of securities because they're offering yield bearings, they're offering stakings. And Paxos is scared that if they do launch inside the United States, the SEC might categorize their stablecoin as a security inside the United States because it's built on Ethereum. If you do staking, it falls on the securities. So USDL, do you see how the name matches it? Because it's a massive L. They could have built it on another chain, but they decided on Ethereum. So USDL is built on Ethereum blockchain, allowing for unrestricted creation and providing daily payouts to token holders. Each USDL is a fully categorized at a ratio of 1-to-1 by US dollars and is also secured by cash assets such as the US dollar deposits and short-term US Treasury notes. Paxos International also underlines that the management of stablecoin reserves is intended to maintain the reserves sufficient to support the total USDL in circulation, thus confirming its investors' trust. It is regulated by the Financial Services Regulatory Authority of Abu Dhabi, Global Monetary, to meet the high regulatory standards. This development is designed to provide a safe and reliable framework for USDL owners that is independent of financial activities and potential risks of Paxos. Yield generation and fees. USDL provides its holders with a return rate of 5%, which is rather close to the present EFFR. The yield is derived from the investments in US Treasury bills and other cash instruments and paid to investors on the rebase basis. This process, it takes the project essentially on a daily basis and it changes the token's balance of each participant according to the yield that has been earned. So the longer you hold it, the more you make. Paxos International has set a distribution fee of 20 basis points and an issuer fee of 30 basis points to manage USDL operations. However, the issuer fee will be exempt in the first few months of the launch to popularize it among the users. Remember when I said Turkey is going to become Turkey is going to stay tax-free for a while and then tax the hell out of them later? This is what Paxos is doing. So, however, the issuer fee will be exempt in the first few months of the launch, so no fees in the first few months. When it becomes popularized, when more people join it, the fee structure is quite simple and is intended to help users understand the expenses of holding USDL. Once obviously it grows in popularity, they're going to start taxing everyone on fees. Market, because that's just what corporates do. The same thing that Turkey is going to do. The world runs on greed. Market strategy and accessibility. Nonetheless, the use of Lyft dollar comes with some advantages, but is not available in most countries, such as the United States, the United Emirates, the United Kingdom, the European Union, Canada, Hong Kong, Japan, and Singapore can't have access to it. They can't have access to USDL. Do you see how much of the name suits it now? Because it is one massive L. What's the point of releasing a stablecoin if it can't be used on a global basis? Now, these limitations stem from the possibilities of yield-bearing stablecoins falling under securities category. Paxos is scared to launch their stablecoin inside the United States in case it becomes a security. Paxos doesn't want to launch their stablecoin inside the United States because they're offering yield bearings and it might fall on the securities. Nevertheless, Paxos remains quite positive about the future of the stablecoin market and thinks that the market is going to grow fivefold in the next few years. They believe that USDL will be useful in offering unbanked and underbanked populations a chance to access the US dollar, which is in line with the overall goal of financial conclusion. So Paxos is releasing a stablecoin. It's going to be built on Ethereum, but they're not going to be launching in the US because if they do, their stablecoin will be under securities category because they're offering yield bearings and it's on Ethereum. And recently, the Ethereum ETF filings, people had to remove a lot of corporations, well, all the corporations, they had to remove their stakings in their ETF applications for their Ethereum ETFs to be approved. So that's why Paxos is not launching inside the United States, because if they do, their stablecoin built on Ethereum will fall on the securities, which is ridiculous to think about it, but also funny, and the name matches it. It's a massive L, USDL. Now, the next news to go from tonight's live show is Tether. Tether has just committed a $18.75 million to RX, is what the company is called, RX Group, for financial inclusion and innovation in emerging markets. Tether is getting heavily involved in cross-border payments right now, even though they're having difficulties with the EU market space, as I explained yesterday, but they're still doing investments, trying to get involved in cross-border payments. Let's see how that goes for Tether. We're going to go through what they're doing in terms of where their investments going, what companies are involved, what countries are involved, and so on. But before we go through that, let's go inside the comment section first. Even Miles and Jason, let's go. If you don't know who Jim Cramer is, I don't know anything about this coin, but it's like a disaster. Regarding Paxos is USDL, yeah, massive disaster. Hello, my friend. Hope all is well. Good to see you as well, Doc. Good to see you as well. How you doing, brother? How you doing, Doc? How you been? Same as the XRPO. Now, Tether. Tether has committed to. Good to see you, Doc. Tether has committed to $18.75 million to Trex Group Financial. In conclusion, major investments to transform cross-border payments and stablecoin use. Tether has made. With this financial backing from Tether, Drex aims to revolutionize cross-border B2B payments in emerging markets by introducing compliant USDT-based transactions. Do you know what's funny about Tether? They're doing absolutely whatever they can. Just the easiest route Tether can take is show transparency. But for some oddly reason, Tether doesn't want to show transparency, but instead invest $18 million, $20 million, $50 million on acquiring new licensings, acquiring new businesses, on acquiring new partnerships to expand their range, to use it as a loophole rather than just being transparent. USD-based transactions, in other words, to make them compliant. It's very easy for Tether to become compliant. Listen to the regulations. That's how you become compliant, not by buying Drex or doing partnerships. This initiative promises to offer businesses enhanced ease, efficiency, and potentially reduced costs in financial transactions. Furthermore, Drex plans to collaborate with Units Foundation to introduce AXU1, a USD-pegged utilized stablecoin over-reserved with Tether Gold, XAUT. This stablecoin will provide customers with reliable alternatives and hedge against inflation. This collaboration between Tether and Drex will also push forward innovations in regulatory technology, RegTech. These advancements will improve solutions for detecting and preventing the illicit use of stablecoins. Tether's commitment to responsible financial management aligns with Drex's dedication, creating a secure, accessible, and trustworthy environment for all cryptocurrency users in emerging markets. Paulo, the CEO of Tether, stated that Tether's strategic investments in Drex Group signifies our unwavering commitment to fostering financial inclusion. In emerging markets, our collaboration with Drex will spearhead several groundbreaking initiatives, including the launch of their unique new utilized stablecoin of the Units Foundation and facilitated of the USDT-based cross-border payments. This sets a new standard for financial accessibility and efficiency in the region. The latest investment aligns with Tether's long-term vision of building a resilient infrastructure and extend beyond the confines of crypto markets, as demonstrated by our diversified investments in various industry sectors. Tether has made quite a lot of investments in quite a lot of sectors. They're not lying. Their biggest investment so far was $100 million into Russia. They're building a Bitcoin mining facility in Russia. $100 million of spending. Wayne Hung, the CEO of Drex Group, highlighted the successful past collaborations between Tether and Drex in essentially aiding law enforcement agencies to identify, arrest, and sentence criminals who use USDT in the wrong way. He noted that with Tether's strong support and investment, we're expanding this success into RegTech product lines that further refines the Drex Group as a responsible financial institution. Winston, the CRO of Drex Group, expressed gratitude to Tether and other investors, stating, "We thank Tether and all existing investors for supporting this up round, which involved an issuance of new team common shares to fuel our top talent recruitings. This stablecoin-enabled financial inclusion movement will bring a long-term positive change to the existing global clearance and settlement systems." Drex investors base includes notable entities such as Taiwanese government's National Development Fund, CDIB Capital Group, SBI Holdings, you can say Ripple's involved maybe, eSun Financial Holdings, Third D Capital, AppWorks, Black Marble, and the new Economy Ventures. Recently, Drex's Singapore obtained the Monetary Authority of Singapore's major payment institutions license, while Drix operates under Taiwan's Financial Supervisory Commission registered VASP status. Tether strategic investments to expand global presence. Tether is doing everything they can to stay on top as the number one stablecoin. You can honestly tell, Tether is trying to hold on extremely tight to the stablecoin market and not be moved from their position. Tether's recent investments is a part of a broader effort to enhance its international footprint. In May, Tether marked its entry into Eastern Europeans through an investment in Georgian payment services, CityPay. Furthermore, Tether has formalized itself with understanding of RAC Digital Assets Oasis to roll out several initiatives. These initiatives aim to advance the adoption of Bitcoin technology and stablecoins in RAS AI. This move is among several recent actions taken by Tether to expand its global influence. The company made a significant advancement to Eastern Europeans with investment CityPay, Georgian Payment Company Services, and May as well. Additionally, Tether's entered this memorandum of understanding of RAC Digital Assets Oasis. This partnership aims to implement various strategic initiatives to promote the use of Bitcoin technology and so on. By the way, the next news we're going to go through on tonight's live show is regarding JP Morgan's analyst and his perspective of what's happening right now in the market space. But before we get to JP Morgan's analyst, regarding what Tether has stated, Tether is obviously trying to do everything they can to stay relevant, to stay the number one stablecoin, without a doubt. But it's very easy for Tether to become relevant and stay number one. Transparency. Tether today has announced a major partnership with Trex. They're going for cross-border payments. They're going to be expanding their range globally. But yesterday, Tether was saying to essentially to the EU markets, they're not going to become compliant. Tether yesterday on this live show, I shared it with everyone, where they said that they don't want to become compliant with the EU market space. And today they're announcing a partnership where they're compliant. They want to join the global market spaces. They want to do cross-border payments, but through Drex, not by becoming compliant actually with the EU market space. Tether is going to be all over the place by the looks of it. Absolutely all over the place. This isn't good for USDT's future. I hope it works out for them, but they've got to show transparency. It's very easy for Tether. Very easy for USDT to become compliant. Show transparency. That's all you have to do. You don't have to make $18 million investments into companies like Drex to become globally used, if you become globally used, moving forward essentially all these years. Just become compliant. You'll become globally used if you become compliant by showing transparency. But they don't want to take the easy route, which is transparency. They want to do loop arounds essentially, USDT. That loop around is going to come and bite them in the arse later on, because that's what happened to Binance when they did loop arounds as well. Now, the next news regarding JP Morgan. JP Morgan analyst announced the event that could shift the balance in Bitcoin BTC minings is near, is what JP Morgan's analyst saying. Major things are apparently happening inside the Bitcoin mining industry right now. Same as XRP, but it should be XRPW. XRPW, let's go. So, JP Morgan analyst announced the event that could shift the balance in Bitcoin mining is near. JP Morgan highlighted in a recent research report that Bitcoin BTC mining companies with attractive energy contracts could make interesting acquisition targets. This comes at a time when hyperscalers and artificial intelligence companies are exploring different alternatives to secure their energy needs. That is very true. AI right now is getting heavily involved in Bitcoin mining industries. So you can maybe even possibly see, Marathon Digital, one of the biggest Bitcoin mining industries out there. Marathon Digital partners with a crypto AI project. There's a possibility of it happening, or an actual AI company. That's more likely, but a possibility for the blockchain space as well, because it is Bitcoin mining, so it is blockchain related. But apparently, Bitcoin mining institutions are looking more and more into AI, and we're going to see a lot of partnerships being announced with major Bitcoin mining industries and AI projects. So, the mining industry is witnessing a surge in mergers and acquisitions. That's true. Marathon Digital is signing contracts left, right, and center, especially after the Bitcoin halving. Shares of the Core Scientific cores rose on Tuesday after cloud computing firm CoreWeave signed a 200 megawatt AI deal with the Bitcoin mining company. CoreWeave has also essentially reported made an all-cash offer to acquire the company. In another development, Riot Platforms, which is one of the biggest Bitcoin mining institutions, Riot Platforms, another major Bitcoin mining institution, made an aggressive bid to acquire Beer Bitfarms. According to JP Morgan's Core Scientific News, will be the most impactful of Iris Energy, which is an early adopter of HPC and the rights to develop over 2 megawatts over 2 gigawatts of power. JP Morgan suggests that this deal could rise in the valuation of base of subscale minings and operators as new customer class hyperscaler emerges. The bank also added that it could help revolutionize the Bitcoin network, regarding AI and Bitcoin mining institutions coming together. By shifting power capacities away from miners, thus increasing the profits of remaining operators. The bank estimates that US-listed Bitcoin mining institutions draw up to 5 gigawatts of power and have access to an additional 2.5 gigawatts, essentially making the potential attractive targets. Additionally, some Bitcoin miners are under the financial pressure to exit the market following recent halving events and may have to, come to some sort of a deal to survive, which is true regarding Bitcoin mining institutions. A lot of them are not closing, but getting brought out by the bigger mining institutions. This is actually what's happening right now. But AI and blockchain, essentially AI and Bitcoin mining institutions are coming together. The positives of that: one, it would grow the adoption rate of Bitcoin heavily. Two, it would bring more eyes on the crypto space in general, not just for Bitcoin, but bring more eyes on the cryptocurrencies where they're more efficient, essentially, and they won't use as much electricity operating and maintaining the blockchain, essentially, for Bitcoin. So those are all positives. All of these countries that recently shut down their Bitcoin mining institutions all of a sudden due to electric problems, if this plan works with AI finding solutions on how to bring down the costs in terms of electricity, then we're probably going to see a lot more countries open their doors back up to Bitcoin mining. It's going to make cryptocurrencies look more efficient in the eyes of a lot of people, in terms of the eyes of corporations, because it will save them on cost and so on. It's a positive for Bitcoin, positive for Bitcoin mining institutions, also positive for the blockchain space because it brings more eyes to it. So, in all sense, it is a positive news and a bullish news. And also, partnerships can be announced. You never know, an AI project can come along and partner with Marathon Digital, for example, which would be quite big for that AI project. Be a very big payout day for that AI project. Because AI and Bitcoin minings are coming together. And in terms of what JP Morgan said this is going to revolutionize Bitcoin mining industries, revolutionize them, the Bitcoin mining industries, which is a positive. Now, Franklin Templeton CEO, staying on topic for 1 second regarding Bitcoin ETFs, because Franklin Templeton's CEO foresees a new wave of Bitcoin ETF adoption is on the way. According to Franklin Templeton, more money is about to be headed towards the Bitcoin towards the Bitcoin ETFs. More money is about to be headed towards the Bitcoin ETFs, according to Franklin Templeton's CEO. Apparently, corporates are getting ready. We're going to go through that, but before we go through it, let me see if there's in the comment section. Hi everyone, respect. Thanks in advance for your knowledge. XRP Den, thank you so much for kind words. Good to see you as well. So, Franklin Templeton's CEO foresees a new wave of Bitcoin ETF adoption is on the way. In an interview with CNBC, everybody's done an interview with CNBC recently. Starting with Brad's interview with CNBC, then Gary Gensler's interview with CNBC, now Franklin Templeton's interview with CNBC, and then Mike Novosko's interview with Bloomberg. In an interview with CNBC, Franklin Templeton's CEO, Jenny Johnson, expressed optimism about the future of US spot Bitcoin ETFs. Johnson believes a new wave of institutional investors will soon enter the market, significantly boosting demand for these financial products. This sentiment comes despite a recent stagnant, essentially, in the ETF inflows and Bitcoin prices. Franklin Templeton's CEO optimistic about Bitcoin ETFs. The spot Bitcoin ETFs have experienced a robust start, attracting over $13 billion in net inflows within the first 3 months following their launch on January 11th. This influx of capital propelled Bitcoin to new price hikes of $73,700 in March, marking a 60% increase year-to-year date. BlackRock's fund in particular set records for the highest inflows seen by a newly launched ETF in general, all types of ETFs. However, the momentum seemed waned through April and May, sparking debates about the sustainability of investment interests, which seems to be back. According to Johnson, many professional money managers still elevate how to integrate Bitcoin into their investment strategies. She described Bitcoin's current market roles as fluctuating between risk-on and risk-off assets, comparable in some ways to gold. This ongoing assessment phase suggests that more prominent institutional involvements could be on the horizon, promising a significant increase in demand for Bitcoin ETFs. More institutions are pretty much on the way right now for BTC ETFs. It's because she said, while managing one of the smaller Bitcoin spot ETFs in the nation with 6,148 BTCs, approximately worth $440 million is what Franklin Templeton is holding right now, BTC ETFs. Franklin Templeton offers the lowest fee at 0.19%. The firm is set to launch an Ethereum ETF with a similarly competitive fee structure as well. Johnson is optimistic that the low fees will attract more investors, especially those sensitive to cost considerations. Bitwise's CIO also sees a political boost for crypto is on the way as well. So not only do Franklin Templeton essentially see a boost is coming from the corporate sector, and in her own words, she mentioned that the money that entered the crypto space for the Bitcoin ETFs, it wasn't that much that pushed Bitcoin to new heights. There wasn't that much money, from ETFs perspective, from the corporate perspective, that pushed Bitcoin to $73,700 in March. That a lot more money is about to be heading into these Bitcoin ETFs and also Ethereum ETFs and more ETFs that are on the way. But in general, the crypto space, because it was genuinely a small amount of money from the corporate section that pushed BTC ETFs skyrocketing up. Bitwise's CEO also sees a political boost for crypto is on the way. These are both bullish news. Executive at Bitwise, another asset management firm with a substantial Bitcoin ETF, also foresees a surge in demand from institutional investors. As existing investors increase their stakes and new investors complete their due diligence, the market could see a significant growth. Additionally, Bitwise CIO Matt Hugans suggested that political developments in Washington, D.C. could catalyze broader crypto market adoption. He positioned essentially that a greater understanding of these political shifts could drive the crypto market to all-time new highs. Bitcoin ETFs demonstrated resilience and potential for recovery by essentially recording $886 million in inflows, marking their second best performance to date. This underscores the ongoing interest and confidence in cryptocurrencies as a viable asset, reinforcing Johnson's optimistic outlook of the future of Bitcoin ETFs. Jenny Johnson, essentially Franklin Templeton CEO. But CIO of Bitwise, Jenny Johnson, Franklin Templeton CEO, both see that one from a political aspect and one also from the corporate aspect, that a lot of money is going to be heading towards the corporate sector. I mean, a lot of money is going to be headed towards the crypto sector, not just for Bitcoin ETFs, because Bitwise's CIO also said the corporate sector is getting ready to enter in a broad aspect of all cryptocurrencies, obviously legitimate projects, of a wave of corporations coming in with a lot of money, deep pockets as well. And essentially, remember that tweet that I sent out a while ago, where I said, prepare yourself for part two. Part two is pending slowly, is what I said on that tweet. I said, prepare yourself for more corporates entering the crypto space, more ETFs entering the crypto space, and more money coming in that sense of inflows, and more directors, more CEO. That tweet that I made, word for word, whatever I said on that is happening back to back. And by the way, I mentioned that tweet again before the Ethereum ETFs even came out. When everybody else said Bitcoin is going to be the only ETF, I put that tweet out before all of that. By the way, I said part two is pending. where more corporates are coming, more businesses essentially enter the crypto space. Expect more ETFs, expect more of this, more of that, more of this. And I said part 2 is all about the utility side, which was the main purpose of cryptocurrencies. So also all of my live shows are pre-recorded and automatically posted after the live show. There's in the 77 episodes, and everything I said is all there for proof of all the things I've been talking about back to back coming to life. That was my perspective, and that was my perspective. And now Franklin Templin and Bitwise's CEO are also giving the same perspective I gave about 3 months before them. I gave that perspective 3 months ago. They're giving that perspective today. Binance flights. The next news to go from tonight's live show, by the way, is Binance fights to. Okay, this is what I said. This is one of the interesting news we're going to go from tonight's live show as well. It's the first time ever this has happened inside the crypto space. Now, the crypto space is not. This is the next news we're going to talk about. I'm going to give you the gist of what we're going to talk about on this particular news. But I've never seen, a crypto project get delisted and then sue the exchange. A lot of suings happen inside the crypto space. A lot of suings. The SEC has majority of the suings of why there's so much suings going on. But it's the first time ever I'm reading and hearing that a particular crypto project got delisted from Binance, Kraken, and a few other exchanges. And this crypto project decided to sue the exchanges for delisting them. Something that's never happened inside the crypto space, where a crypto project sues the exchange for delisting them. But before we go through that news, let's go inside the comment section. I'll tell you what that crypto project is as well once we get to that news. But let's go inside the comment section first. If you're new to this live show, I do news, comments, news, comments, news, comments. And I read everybody's comments one by one as well. But let's go to the comments first and then we'll go back to that. Miles, will loans be tax-free? Depends on those jurisdictions, on those countries of the Middle Eastern countries you're thinking about. Hi, Miles and everyone. Denise, good to see you as well. How you doing? How you been? Miles, can you explain why Ether is so popular? For example, on Coinbase wallet, it's more to transfer than you own. Yes, Ethereum fees are ridiculously high. They are incredibly high. I mean, I use the ETH chain quite a lot, mainly for gas fees. But yeah, it is ridiculously high. The reason why Ethereum is sitting at number 2 essentially, and the number 1 used on Coinbase wallet, was because Coinbase runs on Ethereum. They run on OP, to be fair, but OP runs on Ethereum. And they have their own base network, which is essentially the backbone of OP, which is the backbone of Ethereum. But that's why Coinbase wallet runs on Ethereum. But also, Ethereum sitting at number 2. Ethereum knows how to play the political card quite well. That's one of the biggest reasons. Politics. It's all about politics. Every market space. June is really preparing to lift off. Yes, by the looks of it. You've been talking about part 2 from January, which is true. I've been talking about part 2 before anybody else inside the crypto space. Before all of these CEOs coming out and talking about part 2. And these 2 weren't the only ones. We've had JP Morgan analysts say there's going to be part 2 brewing as well. We've had Standard Chartered Bank say part 2 is brewing as well. And again, I said all of these things before all of these big corporations and big banks, because I can see it coming down, 10 miles down the road before it happens. And just by reading a few documents, I can already get a perspective of what's going to happen next. So yeah, June is really preparing to lift off. And you've been talking about, yes, I have. What is your reply to the aggressive response to XRP haters? What is my reply to the aggressive response to XRP haters? Look, I said this yesterday as well, don't ever bring emotions inside the crypto space. Don't ever bring your emotions inside the crypto space. It's the worst thing you can do. I said, if you want to involve your emotions, go and talk to your family, go and talk to your friends, go and get a therapist. But when you step into the crypto sector, or the crypto markets, the stock market, any sort of market space, you've got to have a corporate mindset, which is what I have, because I'm inside the corporate sector, 24/7, day in and day out, inside the corporate sector. And they beat it out of you inside the corporate sector regarding having zero emotions. But you've got to, when you enter the crypto space, you've got to put your emotions behind you. And a lot of people, from the retail section say that they have no emotions inside the crypto sector, but they do. A lot of people do inside the retail section. They're too emotional inside the crypto markets. They're too attached to something. Leave your emotions behind you. And I've seen a lot of people obviously hate on XRP, and some people love XRP. But the people that hate XRP, you're coming inside the markets with emotions. Don't do it. It will end bad. You know, here's 2 quotes that I live by. I live by a lot of quotes, and a lot of people know them and so on this live show, but here's 2 of them. One is, everybody's entitled to an opinion, but opinions are not correct, and facts are facts. And the other one is, a wise person will learn from other people's mistakes. A moron would have to go through the mistake to realize it was a mistake. And what I mean by that is, don't bring emotions into it. Don't enter the crypto space with emotions. A lot of people, they will hear Ripple news or XRP news and they say, oh, I'm not interested because it's Ripple news. Why? Knowledge is powerful. You're involving emotions into it. So don't miss out on projects because of your emotions. If you want to miss out on a crypto project, miss out on it because it's useless. Miss out on it because it has no partnerships. Miss out on it because it has no contracts. Miss out on it because it's a pump and dump and you're going to be exit liquidity. Those are reasons why you should miss out on a crypto project. But don't miss out on a crypto project that has contracts, that has partnerships, that has developments, that is working with the Bank of International Settlements. Don't miss out on a crypto project like that because your emotions are affecting your judgment. So if you want to miss out on a crypto project, miss out on, a crypto project that you're going to become exit liquidity on. Good. Miss out on that one. Miss out on crypto projects that don't have partnerships, that pretend to have partnerships. Miss out on crypto projects that don't have contracts or pretend to have contracts. But don't miss out on a crypto project like Ripple and XRP because your emotions won't let you, grow and expand your knowledge. That's ridiculous. Leave your emotions outside. A lot of people inside the crypto space say they have no emotions, but they're lying to themselves. Leave your emotions outside. Because they're clouding your judgment. But yeah, a wise person would learn from other people's mistakes. A moron would have to go through the mistake to realize it was a mistake. Don't bring emotions into it. Don't miss out on something because of your emotions. And the other one, everybody's entitled to an opinion, but opinions are not correct. Me, you, everyone is entitled to an opinion, but opinions are not correct. And facts are facts. Always stick to the PDF documentations. And if you want to excel in the market space, stop trying to look for a quick buck. Look for something more generational. And do quick buck if you want on the side, but don't make your priority aim a quick buck inside the crypto sector or any sort of market space. Because that's what a retail person does. Bad mentality. Because you lose more than earn. Because everybody loves the story about one guy that put in $1,000 and made 100. Everybody loves that story. You hear it on the news all the time, all the crypto space, crypto influencers always talk about. This guy put $3,000 and made $22 million. But the crypto influencer, or the rest of the crypto influencers, will never tell you about the other 99% that didn't make anything on that same crypto project. Because everybody likes a hero story, but nobody likes reality. Because they'll tell you, this guy put $3,000 and made $20 million. You should be listening to me for that reason, and I'm going to tell you the next coin. But that crypto influencer will never tell you the other 99% on that same project who will use as exit liquidity. But they'll tell you about that one guy that made it through. And then you think to yourself, I can be that one guy. I hope you do become that one guy that gets $20 million or $10 million or $5 million or $2 million or $1 million with your 10,000 bet, or with your 5,000 bet or 2,000 or $1,000 bet. I hope you do become that one person. But also come back to reality at the same time. And do that on the side if you want to. But don't make quick buck inside the crypto sector your main priority, because you'll lose more than earn. Because you've already been told half the story. And the other half of the story, which is the reality part, a lot of people don't like to hear it and assume it's not there. But the other half is the reality, which is 99% of those people on that same project are exit liquidity. Or that one guy or those 3 people get to walk away with millions in their pockets. Always listen to the full story, not half of it. Now, Binance. This is the interesting news and also the funny news that I was going to tell you. That I've never heard a crypto project suing crypto exchanges for delisting them. One second, let me just go back inside the comment section. Will XRP, here we go. My hobby is one of those morons, Miles. That's a very interesting way to put it, Shelly. Will XRP reach $10 on the retail pump? Retail pump? No, it needs actual adoption pump, corporate section pump. Retail can push it up to a certain level, yes, they can, but it needs corporation pump. Thanks for your reply. Appreciate your knowledge, Miles. Understand now. Let's go XRP then. Thank you so much. Sorry, Miles, I'm late. Still traveling back home. How are you doing? I'm doing great, Lena. Good to see you as well. How you doing? I'm patiently waiting for your feedback. Yes. Lena, I saw your message. I'm going to reply back to after the live show. I'm going to reply back to a lot of people after the live show. I'm going to reply back to Lena. I'm going to reply back to Scott. There's a list of Telegram messages I'm going to reply back to. I haven't forgotten. I've been very busy with a lot of things going on. But yes, after the live show, I'll definitely do it. Apologies about that, Lena. Hi, Miles. What's the price do you think of ONDO can reach? What the price of ONDO I think is going to reach? What price is it sitting at right now? And I talked about ONDO when it first launched. I said that they're essentially getting public data from BlackRock and everybody else. They're not contracted with BlackRock, but they're getting public data from them essentially. And they're actually a majority investor. ONDO is a majority investor, and BlackRock's IBIT, their tokenization fund, essentially, which is good. They're still, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they still are a majority investor. About $95 million ONDO made into BlackRock's iTrust. ONDO sitting at number 58 as well. It's down 5.44%. Let me see this last 7 days. In this last 7 days, the chart's been up 18.85%. In the last 30 days, it's been up 66.48%. In the last 90 days, it's been up 130%. In the last year, it's been 755% up. Yeah. ONDO has a possibility of reaching, I would say, easily 5. Easily 5. Not overnight. Just to explain that one as well. Not overnight. But 5. As a gradual process, it has to get to 150. And by the way, because I was saying in pounds, $5. It's at 138 now. 2, it would easily reach. Not overnight. 2, it would easily reach. Over time. 3, it will reach. 4, it will reach. 5, it will reach as well. Two, 3 seems more reasonable for now, but 5 is a possible. Just going back to the notes for the news. Here we go. Hi, do you like SHX, XAI, Qubit on Stellar? Okay, XHX on Stellar is actually an alright project, to be fairly honest. SHX is an alright project, to be honest. XAI, I don't know what the recent developments are, and the other one, Qubit, I don't know what the recent developments are on Stellar, so I can't give you a better perspective. I can't give you a perspective of them if I don't know what the recent developments are. But SHX is a good project. ACH, $10 next year, possible. Definitely possible. If ACH gets the right adoption earlier on, $10 is nothing for it. If it gets the right adoption earlier on, $10 is nothing for it. Now, Binance. Binance fights to reduce the size. By the way, this particular crypto project that is suing these exchanges for delisting them is suing Binance for $13 billion. So this particular crypto project is suing Binance, Kraken, and a few other crypto platforms But they're suing Binance for $13 billion for delisting them. Never been heard before. Honestly, nobody's ever heard of any crypto project suing exchanges for delisting. So, Binance fights to reduce the size of their $13 billion UK lawsuit over BSV token for their delisting. Crypto exchange Binance has sought to dismiss most of London's lawsuit valued up to £10 million, which is about $12.8 billion. The lawsuit claims Binance and other exchanges colluded to delist the Bitcoin Satoshi Vision BSV cryptocurrency. This case is being heard at London's Competition Appeal, Section C18 in other words, and it involves over 200,000 BSV owners. Binance seeks a dismissal of £10 billion lawsuit. The lawsuit brought by BSV claims and alleges that Binance, Kraken, and other exchanges engaged in anti-competitive behavior by delisting BSV in 2019. They're getting sued now for something they delisted in 2019. Lawyers for BSV claims and argues that this delisting caused BSV's value to drop significantly. The lawyers of BSV token are suing Binance because their value dropped after their delisting. They also claim it prevented BSV from becoming a top-tier cryptocurrency. So Binance delisting them stopped their chances of becoming a top-tier cryptocurrency. If your project is so pathetically crap that you need an exchange to list it for it to become top-tier, and you have no contracts behind you to prove that you're top-tier, then what does that say about your project? It's got nothing to do with the exchanges. Your project just sucks. BSV was never great when it launched. And stopping BSV from becoming a top-tier cryptocurrency, valuing this aspects of the claim up to £9 billion. The exchange do not oppose the C certification under the UK's collective proceedings regime. Similar to the US class action system, certifications would be first step in lawsuit. Binance, however, has requested a CAT to dismiss the part of the case concerning BSV's alleged potential to become a significant cryptocurrency. Even Binance's lawyers said, what is this ridiculousness? If we delisted you, we stopped you from becoming a top-tier cryptocurrency. So where your entryway to a top-tier cryptocurrency, not what your actual project is. Even Binance's lawyers were confused. This part of the case is for those who retain BSV after delisting it. Kraken calls the BSV lawsuit a baseless lawsuit. Binance lawyers, Brian, argued that those who kept BSV made an entirely voluntary decision, which is true. I don't understand this culture behind people inside the crypto sector who buy something. For example, they will buy a token, and then when some things go south with that project, they blame the project. You do realize it's optional to buy anything inside the crypto space. The same way it's optional to buy any stock. If the project goes south, or if the company goes south, that's on you to exit at the right time. To first of all understand the project that you brought and understand the risks. BSV was in a lawsuit since in 2019 as well, and they decided to hold on. And when you decide to hold on those kinds of paths, you've got to understand some things can go south. Now, you might think this case might be similar. Ripple's in a lawsuit as well. Are we holding XRP for no apparent reason? No. There's a big difference between Ripple's case and the BSV case. Whereas the BSV founder decided to say to the whole world, he's the creator of Bitcoin. That's when things decided to go south. When BSV said he's the creator of Bitcoin, it went completely south after that. So if you decide to hold on after the founder of BSV said, he went lunatic essentially, announcing that he is the founder of Bitcoin, him getting sued multiple times and so on, and you decide to hold on through all of that and it didn't work out, it's got nothing to do with Binance Exchange, nothing to do with Crack Exchange. Your project just is bad. Nothing to do with exchanges. The Binance lawyer Brian essentially argued that those who kept BSV made an entirely voluntary decision. He said they could reasonably have sold it and reinvested into comparable cryptocurrencies, which is true. You can sell. You don't have to hold a crypto project forever. If you don't know what it is, don't buy it in the first place. If you do know what it is, when you buy it, don't bitch about it. Because a lot of people will buy cryptocurrencies. They'll buy, for example, XRP. Some people will buy XRP and make videos about it and go, oh, XRP sucks, I can't believe XRP is not moving, but I'm still holding, then why are you holding? Sell. It's optional. Don't buy something and then make negative videos about it. If you don't buy it and then make negative videos about it, at least, people will respect you and say, okay, at least he's not involved, but, he has his opinion. But if you buy it and then make videos about it and at the end go, but I'm still holding, that makes you look like an imbecile. And also makes you look like a moron. You genuinely look like a moron. There's no way around it. So, both Binance's lawyers essentially saying they could have reasonably have just sold it and reinvested in the comparable cryptocurrency. This applies to the whole crypto space, by the way. Further contended that this part of the lawsuit should not proceed because it makes no sense. BSV claims lawyers, however, maintain that the issue should be tried and in the same way as the rest of the cases. They argue that the delisting was an anti-competitive behavior that affected the cryptocurrency's market position and value. I generally feel sorry for anybody that's holding BSV. Actually, you know what? I don't, because you're all morons. The founder of that project decided to say, I am Satoshi Nakamoto. That should have been your first red flag of, oh no, this project is about to go south. How can this man just come out of nowhere and claim he's Satoshi Nakamoto, then be taken to court to prove that he is, and he faked paperwork that he turns out to be isn't, and then the project got delisted? That should be your first red flag. The founder of this crypto project that you're holding comes out and says, I'm Satoshi Nakamoto. And he said that, obviously, for people to buy. And when it turned out he's not Satoshi Nakamoto, because he was never in the first place, he got delisted on all exchanges. And they're blaming the exchanges. So the people, by the way. Now, but yeah, genuinely that applies to the whole crypto space as well. A lot of people, I've seen them, they buy crypto projects and they make negative videos about it. But at the end they go, but I still hold it. That makes no sense to me whatsoever. Because, and I'm not going to name any crypto influencers, because I said this previously, these days people are too sensitive. A long time ago, back in the day, you could have made a video about anyone and nobody was sensitive. Nowadays, everybody's too sensitive. If I mention a crypto influencer's name and then say where he went wrong, genuinely where he went wrong, they will try to seize you for seizing the season and so on. And I don't have time for that. I'm trying to run a business, honestly. I'm trying to run an entire blockchain startup company. I have VC companies around me, executives around me, so on. I have so much headache going on, so much work to do, so much to do to launch my own project off the ground. So I don't have time to go in and out of court battling crypto influencers for letting them have access to my wallet and so on. That's never going to happen. So people are too sensitive these days. I'm not going to mention their names. But particular crypto influencers would buy XRP, for example, and they would make videos and go, well, XRP is never going to move. Well, XRP is trash. Well, XRP is that. But at the end of their video, they say, but I'm still holding my XRP. And I don't understand why. If you don't like it, if you think it's never going to move, if you think it's never going to do anything, then why hold? The only reason you hold is because you're not sure. Because if you were sure, you would have sold. But you're not sure. And you're just making clickbait videos. Because you can't make a video and say, this project will never move. This project will never have partnerships. This project is lying about their partnerships, but I'm still holding it. How much of an idiot do you look? Honestly, you just look like an absolute idiot. Again, I'm not going to name the crypto influencers. Not going to do that one. But again, it's voluntary. Don't like it, don't buy it. But don't buy it and then, create moronic videos about it. Now, Bitcoin price rises after Bank of Canada cut interest rates below 5%. Is the next news we're going to go through tonight's live show. But before we go through that, let's consider the comment section first. What would you do with all my XRP bags? They are heavy, hard to hide. Can you, please? All XRP that we have to talk about it before you do that. He's like Tether trying to hold on. Lol. It's like Tether trying to hold on. Facts. Bitcoin price rises after Bank of Canada cuts interest rates below 5%. Canada's central bank just cut its benchmark interest rate for the first time in 4 years. a pivotal move that suggests other monetary authorities could soon start doing the same, essentially. That's good news for risk assets like Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies in general, which have historically performed well and when borrowing money is cheap and when the fiat money supply is on the rise. After the news broke, Bitcoin shot up about 1.5% to $71,600, its highest price since March. The price of BTC has settled around $70,930 as of writing, according to CoinGecko's data. We've come a long way in the fight against inflation, said Bank Governor Tiff. During an opening remarks, and she also wanted to say essentially, and our confidence that inflation will continue to move closer to 2% targets has increased over recent months. The cut, which brings the country's policy rate down 2 basis points from 5.0 to 4.74, makes Canada the first G7 country to begin relaxing its fight against inflation, which will overrun the world during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. We don't want monetary policies to be more restrictive than it needs to be to get inflation back to targets. But if we lower our policy interest rates too quickly, we could jeopardize the progress we've made. The Central Bank of Switzerland, where inflation was a low of 1.4% in April, led the world with an interest rate cutback in March down to 1.5%. Meanwhile, the European Central Bank ECB is largely expected to cut its main refinancing rate by 25 basis points to 4.25. And essentially at the next meeting, which is tomorrow, by the way. So in other words, today, because it's 1:06 a.m. in London right now. So today, the EU is going for a meeting right now for interest rates, where they're going to be cutting it by 25 basis points, which is going to be good for the market space. By contrast, inflation inside the United States has proven more sticky to a 3.4% in April, promoting suspicions that Federal Reserve could keep rates higher for longer. According to CME FedWatch, the market still believes the Fed will keep flat at its June meeting, though a 25 basis point cut by September is viewed as most likely outcome. That said, the Fed also cut the rate of its quantitative tightening program by over 50% last month, which has a net effect of reducing the pace at which the Fed takes money out of the economy, keeping front-end rates elevated while simultaneously tempering QT can be likened to both applying the brakes to a car and accelerating at the same time, wrote CoinShares head of research James. Look, in a very simple matter, rate cuts are on the way. Canada has just opened, the gates to rate cuts. The first ever G7 country to be doing rate cuts at that level. Now, Canada said we're not going to be instantly bring them down back to back, because if we do that, then all of this work that we've done so far will be for nothing. But Canada has just opened their doors to rate cuts. The ECB, essentially, the EU today are having a meeting. They're going to be going through rate cuts as well. That's going to be positive for crypto space as well. So we could see the crypto market moving again tomorrow, essentially today, based on what news comes out of the EU market space as well. But more rate cuts are on the way for US, for EU, for quite a lot of countries actually, for the UK as well. But Canada has just done their rate cuts. Now, Ripple news. We're going to be going through right now. Ripple news to go through, which is Ripple's partnership news. Ripple XRP announces a new collaboration. Blockchain and cryptocurrency solutions company Ripple XRP announced a partnership with Clear Junction. It's quite big. This news is quite big. A global company in cross-border payment solutions for regulated institutions. Clear Junctions, just once again, is a global company for cross-border payment solutions for regulated institutions. And Ripple is their partner now. This collaboration aims to provide an instant and secure payment coverage in sterling and euros. This partnership that's going on right now with Ripple and Clear Junction is for cross-border payments for the British pounds for cross-border payments and the euros. This collaboration aims to provide instant and secure payment coverage in sterling, which is British pounds, and euros for Ripple's payment customers. Clear Junction will streamline payment coverage by increasing the efficiency of transactions for Ripple's customers, sending payments to the United Kingdom and the European Union. The partnership also plans to introduce a number of new currencies for Ripple customers later this year. New currencies are about to be heading on the XRP ledger later this year, most likely. Ripple's Europe General Manager, Cassie, expressed her excitement about the partnership. Clear Junction is a perfect fit for Ripple. From the outset, it has been able to support all of our use cases, including providing Starlink and Euro payment coverage for customers. We are excited to welcome Clear Junction to our network and see this as just the beginning of our relationship. Clear Junction founder and CEO Dimmer Katz also shared his views on the partnership. At Clear Junction, we work tirelessly to identify new business opportunities that will enhance our existing services in fiat and cryptocurrencies. Blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies will certainly be at the center of the evolution of banking. And we are happy to partner with Ripple to be part of this process. This partnership is a great example of two organizations coming together to develop their own products and services. We look forward to working closely with the Ripple team and hope to explore more ways to grow our partnership in the future. Massive partnership announcement, honestly, from Ripple and Clear Junction. Massive partnership announcement for payments between UK and the EU space, in terms of British pounds, in terms of euros, but also not that just that, but also they're going to be introducing new tokens as well. From the institutional side, massive news, honestly, absolutely massive news. I was about to swear there. I was about to say absolutely effing news, but absolutely amazing news, honestly. Ripple's president says XRP ETF would make a lot of sense. Is the next news to go through. During a recent interview with CNBC, Ripple president Monica Long said that an XRP exchange traded fund ETF would make a lot of sense. She said, if you're thinking about it, only XRP and Bitcoin have regulatory clarity. Essentially is what Monica Long said, by the way, which is true. If you think about it, only XRP and Bitcoin have regulatory clarity on status in the US. XRP has been a top 10 asset by market cap and is about the top 5 if you look at a daily trading volume. So I think that it will make a lot of sense, she said, for an XRP ETF. Long's statement comes after Ripple's CEO Brad recently predicted that the launch of a spot XRP ETF is going to be happening, which is true. Brad said this on a CNBC interview. He clarified that approving several altcoin ETFs would make sense since investors typically do not want to have exposure to a single coin, which is very true. People on Wall Street want to have, diversification going on. If you're a Wall Street investor, you want to have access to multiple revenue streams, not just one. So yes, it does make sense for alternative ETFs to be on the way. What Brad essentially said. Monica Long expressed to see even more institutional interest in this space. Again, bullish news. What's coming from Monica Long? Monica Long is expecting to see even more institutional interest in this crypto space. Sophisticated players, she said, are entering the relatively crypto market space that we are in with the help of Bitcoin ETFs or tokenized assets. Ripple's stablecoin is expected this year. As reported, Ripple recently made a foray into the ultra-competitive stablecoin sector. The yet-to-be-named stablecoin, which is essentially going to be called, by the looks of it, USDR, essentially, project is expected to go live by the end of 2024, according to Monica Long. We are working on all things you need to do in order to bring a product like this to the market, she said. Monica Long claims that there will be still to be need for the XRP token, even after Ripple. Again, with Brad saying it as well regarding, first of all, a lot of people that even assume Ripple is not going to be using XRP. Ripple recently, 3 days ago, did a Q&A on their own website of how they're going to be using XRP. Second, Brad also mentioned that that XRP has a big future ahead of itself, even if we do have a stablecoin, is what Brad said on a live audience panel. Now we also have Monica Long saying it as well, that Monica Long claims that there will still be a need. There will still be a need for XRP token, even after Ripple launches its stablecoin project. Even after Ripple launches their stablecoin project, Monica Long says there will still be a need for the XRP token, since the former will still be able to serve as an asset bridge. The Ripple executive has pointed to various projections showing that the stablecoin market could reach about $3 trillion of market cap within the next years. Next 5 years. Stablecoins are seeing great demand since they provide easy access to US dollars in various parts of the world. Moreover, stablecoins are convenient for conducting payments. This is coming from Monica Long, which is Ripple's president. If you ever need reassurance, it's still going to be around. One, Ripple put a Q&A, which I shared on this live show a few nights ago, on their own website. How they're going to be using XRP. 2, Brad stating on a live panel they're going to be using XRP no matter what, even if they have a stablecoin. 3, Monica Long stating that there's still going to be a massive use case for XRP even after they launch a stablecoin. But I mean, this news coming right after also the partnership news, Clear Junction, Ripple, cross-border payments, EU and the UK, massive, absolutely massive. And it kind of falls in line with what Monica Long said regarding even after the launch of stablecoins, XRP still has a major role to play, because Clear Junction and Ripple apparently are going to be launching a few coins together as well. Who knows? On the XRP ledger, because they did say they're going to be releasing a few currencies, most likely euros and pounds. Now, Van Eck is the next news to go through on tonight's live show, which is Van Eck essentially predicting that Ethereum is going to be reaching a price target of $22,000 by 2030. But before we go through that news, let's go start the comment section. I was here, Miles, can you have a vote for reject me or embrace me from CMF? Sure, we'll do a vote. That's bullish news. It absolutely is, honestly, with Ripple, Monica Long saying it. Can you see XRP hitting 50 cents again this month? Yes. Now, Van Eck analysts have said that they can potentially see Ethereum reaching a price target of $22,000 by 2030. Analysts working at the US investment firm Van Eck, which has applied to a list of spot Ether ETFs, said that they have raised their 2030 price prediction for Ethereum to $22,000. They said, we've raised our 2030 ETH price target to $22,000, influenced by the Ether ETF news. Scale in progress, our read on the on-chain data, Van Eck posted on X, while with a link to the report by Matthew Sigel and Patrick Bush and Dennis from their own essentially team. So Van Eck's team essentially posted a link of their report. If anybody wants to go and read it, you can go to Van Eck's X page and read that report. Now, what essentially is the firm is one of the several Wall Street investment managers now seeking to list spot Ether ETFs after successfully launching their spot Bitcoin ETFs in January. The Securities and Exchange Commission approved the spot Ether ETFs last month, and investors who purchase the exchange-traded funds will be able to benefit if the cryptocurrency price appreciates without having to buy the token directly. Likewise, sponsors of ETFs gain fee income as more assets pile into their funds. Van Eck said, we anticipate that spot Ether ETFs are nearing approval to trade on the US stock exchanges. The Van Eck analyst said in a note, this development would allow financial advisors and institutional investors to hold this unique asset with the securities qualified custodians and benefit from the pricing and liquidity advantages of characteristics of ETFs. Once listed, spot Ethereum ETFs could attract between $3.1 billion and $4.8 billion in net inflows during their first 5 months of trading, according to K33 Research. The authors of Van Eck report have positions in Ethereum directly or via private funds, according to a spokesperson from the firm. The information represents the opinions of authors, but not necessarily those of Van Eck or those of its employees, according to the report as well. Continued growth for Ethereum. The Ethereum network is likely to continue its rapid market share growth, from traditional financial market participants and increasingly big tech, according to the report. Should it do so while maintaining its dominant position among smart contract platforms, we see a credible path to $66 billion in cash flows to token holders, supporting a $2.2 trillion asset, or $22,000 per coin 2030. The $22,000 price target represents author's base case price target. The bullish and bearish price predictions were $1,000 and $360 respectively. We believe Ethereum is a revolutionary asset with a few parallels in non-crypto financial worlds. ETH can be thought of as a digital oil. Here's something that you didn't know. Everybody calls Bitcoin the digital gold. Apparently, Van Eck is calling Ethereum the digital oil. So, is Ethereum going to be holding the title of digital oil, while Bitcoin holds the title of digital gold? That's what Van Eck called it, because it is consumed by engaging in activities on Ethereum. The author also wrote, because once you get in Ethereum, you're trapped on Ethereum, is what he's trying to say. So you're trapped on oil. Bitcoin's price has risen 54% to about $71,000 and from roughly $46,000 since spot Bitcoin ETFs began trading in January, according to the block price page. The top Wall Street firms like BlackRock and Fidelity launched obviously their spot Bitcoin ETFs alongside Van Eck. But yeah, this is Van Eck's response, essentially, of that they see Ethereum going to $22,000 by 2030 from the institutional wave that's coming in, and also because mainly they're Ethereum ETF, and they're calling it digital oil because once you get in Ethereum, you get stuck on Ethereum. They're most likely talking about the gas fees because the price of oil has also risen. The barrels are not where they used to be. Now, Saudi Arabia is the next news to go through. That's extremely bullish for Ethereum if you do hold Ethereum. Saudi Arabia, in my opinion, is going to get to that target much more quicker. With the correct adoption rate, 2030 is too long of a target. With the correct adoption rate, also with the ETFs, it's going to get the ball rolling a lot more quicker. So 2030, $22,000 is going to happen much more sooner. Not overnight in any sort of way, but sooner. Now, Saudi Arabia joins, is the next news we're going to go through. Saudi Arabia joins the Bank of International Settlements and China-led central bank digital currency project. So big news on that aspects. The Bank of International Settlements, obviously the bank of all central banks, G20 countries, 63 centralized banks, and so on. They are now advancing their cross-border payments, and Saudi Arabia is involved. And a lot more other countries are involved as well. And we're going to go through that. But before we go through it, let's go inside the comment section. Again, if you're new on this live show, I do news, comments. If you have a question, put it outside the comment section. I'll read everybody's comments one by one. Miles, you didn't reply to my request. Your question? No, I did. I said we'll do it. We'll do a vote. But if you send me a message on Telegram, I have a lot of messages to go through on Telegram. So apologies if I didn't reply to you on Telegram. I have a lot of messages on Telegram. But no, we'll do the vote. No problem. Saudi Arabia joins Bank of International Settlements and China-led central bank digital currency project. Saudi Arabia has joined a China-dominated central bank digital currency cross-border trial in what could be another step towards less of the world's oil trades being done in the US dollars, which is not true, but we'll go ahead. The move announced by the Bank for International Settlements today will see Saudi Arabia's central bank become a full participant of Project Enbridge, a collaboration launched in 2021 between the central banks of China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates with the help of the Bank of International Settlements. Because without that, they have no Project M. The Bank of International Settlements, a global central bank umbrella organization, which oversees the project, because they have to give the green light. The Bank of International Settlements has to be the one that gives the green light to any of these centralized banks, even if you are a BRICS member, because they're also on the Bank of International Settlements. Now, also announced that Enbridge had reached a minimum viable product stage, meaning it will move beyond the prototype phase now. The Bank of International Settlements has moved from the starter kit they were sitting on for mBridge. Now they're advancing more on mBridge. And we're going to see a lot more payments happening, cross-border payments happening, a lot more. Roughly 355 countries and currency unions representing 98% of the global GDP are exploring the central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs, but the new technologies they use make cross-border movement both technically challenging and politically sensitive. The most advanced cross-border CBDC project just added a major G20 economy and the largest oil exporter in the world, said Josh Lipsky, who runs a global CBDC tracker on the US-based Atlantic Council. This means that in the coming year, you can expect to see a scaling up of commodity settlements on the platform outside of dollars, something that was already on the way between China and Saudi Arabia, but now has new technology behind it. By new technology, mBridge, Bank of International Settlements. And by the way, the Bank of International Settlements has two partners. One, SWIFT for cross-border payments. Two, Ripple. They're both on the same PDF, by the way. It's cross-border payments PDF, it says SWIFT and it says Ripple. And a few other companies, but they're the only ones running the show. One is for blockchain, Ripple. SWIFT, old school. This means that in the coming year, you can expect to see scaling up of commodity settlements on the platform outside of dollars, something that is already on the way between China and Saudi Arabia, but now has new technologies behind it. Bank of International Settlements on dollars and mBridge. The mBridge transactions can use the codes of Chinese yuan is built on. So whatever the Chinese yuan is built on, it can still work with the Bank of International Settlements because it has to. One. Two, it can still work with mBridge because it has to. That code is also available to project's 26 other observing members. That includes the likes of the... Here's the thing. Remember how politicians voted against banning CBDCs? Everybody remember that inside the United States? The politicians came together and essentially voted for the anti-CBDC bill. And I said, obviously, for a fact, the politicians are not doing this because they care about your privacy. The politicians are doing this because they don't want to be on CBDCs, because politicians are shady people and dodgy people, and they run on political donations. And if their wages are on CBDCs, then that's quite difficult for them to have a very dodgy lifestyle. They're not doing this because they care about the people's privacy. They care about their own privacy because they're government workers. And they voted on an anti-CBDC bill. So the Federal Reserve is not allowed to build a CBDC. Well, obviously, that's never going to happen. The politicians can dream on. CBDCs are going to be coming either way. But that's why I've always said you've got to prepare for them rather than run away from them. The mBridge transaction can use the code of Chinese yuan and built and so on. The code is also available to 26 projects and observing members that include with mBridge and Bank of International Settlements. The likes of New York's branch of the Federal Reserve, the International Monetary Fund, and European central banks. So yeah, that's whole voting that they did, anti-CBDC bill. Yeah, the Federal Reserve is still working, obviously, with the Bank of International Settlements for CBDCs. That's never going to stop. But a lot of people thought it did. I said they can vote against anything. Politicians can be replaced, as I always said. Politicians can be replaced. Presidents can be replaced. Prime ministers can be replaced. If you're not a part of the agenda, you will get replaced. The Bank of International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Economic Forum run the show. Full stop. There's no way around it. CBDCs, they're happening. I said this as well. And I said that's not going to stop the Federal Reserve. And it hasn't. The Bank of International Settlements also said that mBridge platform was now compatible with Ethereum's virtual machine, a piece of software that forms the backbone of the networks used by Ether cryptocurrencies. This allows to be tested as well. Supporters of CBDCs say that they will modernize their payments with new functionalities and provide an alternative to physical cash, which seems to be a terminal decline on cash. But questions remain. Why they represent an advance? With barely any uptake in countries such as Nigeria that have already adopted them, and both political and public back and pushback in some countries aimed fears they could enable governments snooping. As well as dominating the mBridge project, China is carrying out the world's largest domestic CBDC pilot, which now reaches 260 million people and covers about 200 scenarios from e-commerce to government payments regarding the CBDC in China. Other big news regarding emerging economies is also including India, Brazil, and Russia also plan to launch their own digital currencies. And the ECB also, in other words, the EU. In stark contrast, the US House of Representatives passed a bill banning the Federal Reserve from creating a digital dollar, although it needs to pass a vote in the Senate to become law, which will never get it. So yeah, Bank of International Settlements made quite a lot of statements regarding what's happening and regarding how far mBridge has come. mBridge has moved from test phases to pro phases now. Pro phases for mBridge, cross-border payments. The Bank of International Settlements have done all their testings, and now they're getting to a stage where they're calling it a pro phase. They went from test payments on cross-border payments to a pro phase. That's how close we are to cross-border payments in CBDCs. And I've always said, you can't stop CBDCs. They're going to be coming either way. Even if you think about going against it, losing battle. I've always said this, and I will always say this. And I've always said also that 24,000 crypto projects, and they all have competitors, except XRP. Because the gaming category has competitors inside the blockchain space. AI have their own competitors inside the crypto space. Web3 has competitors. Data has competitors. Ripple has no competitor for CBDCs. And Ripple's the only one with a CBDC platform, and the only one with the Bank of International Settlements. So, if you can't, go against CBDCs, what's the alternative option? Well, the alternative option is, if you can't beat them, join them. It's just basically what it is. If you can't beat them, join them. Because the Bank of International Settlements, day by day, seems to be getting closer and closer to their targets of cross-border payments in CBDCs. Which means CBDCs are coming either way. If you didn't think they were coming because the US banned CBDCs, grow up. Okay, that doesn't matter at all. Those politicians are doing that for themselves to buy more time, because even those politicians aren't that stupid enough to realize that it's going to be happening either way, but they're buying more time for themselves. So CBDCs are coming either way. Either prepare for it, but don't go against it. Prepare for it. If you can't beat them, join them. Go for the only program. Essentially, there's only one project doing CBDCs, so either be a part of the show or be in the show. Now, Saudi Arabia. Now, Australia. Regarding this whole CBDC sector and cross-border payments and Bank of International Settlements and so on, Australia has made some interesting comments today, straight after the Bank of International Settlements announcement of how close they are to actual CBDC payments. This is what Australia said. Any Aussie CBDC, wholesale only. Any Aussie company, is what they're saying, wants to do payments, wholesale CBDC only, is what Australia is saying. If and where there is any progress to a central bank digital currency in Australia, if there is any progress to a central bank digital currency in Australia, the use case will be in wholesale sense, said Michelle Bullock, governor of the Reserve Bank, told Senate estimates that if we're going to have CBDCs, every Australian company should be in wholesale CBDCs. That's where we are going at the moment, she said, trying to stand that up in atomic settlements of assets. In August last year, the Reserve Bank gave qualified support for introduction of a CBDC in Australia, following completion a pilot involving numerous CBDC use cases earlier this year as well. The RBA, the Reserve Bank of Australia, and the Digital Finance Cooperative Research Centre worked together on the project, and at the time released a report on the pilot saying a CBDC has the potential to support increased efficiency and resilience in some areas of payment systems. Through more research is required. Since then, the Reserve Bank of Australia has been all but mute on the topic, perhaps encouraging the idea that the Reserve Bank of Australia interest in both the merits and the priority of this work may be weighing. Bullock has effectively ruled out any retail or mass or market use case for CBDCs in Australia. This place, the Reserve Bank of Australia, is starkly contrasting position to New Zealand, where the RBNZ on retail CBDC style digital cash potentially around 2030, much more sooner they're going to have it. Last August, the Reserve Bank of Australia said that the Treasury were working towards publishing a joint report around the middle of this year that will provide a stock tale on digital money research in Australia and has set a roadmap for the future works. Australia is going to come out with a roadmap this year, middle of this year, which is basically what we're in the middle of this year. Australia is about to come out with a roadmap on their CBDC progress that alert everyone how far they've gotten. A lot of CBDC things are happening. Look, as I've said previously, every country, pretty much, the most powerful countries, the most wealthiest countries on this planet are all a part of the Bank of International Settlements, including BRICS nations. So even if they try to move away from the dollar and so on, it's just a losing battle. So every country, G20 countries, 63 centralized banks, all on the Bank of International Settlements. CBDCs are coming either way. You like it, you don't like it, it's coming either way. One project is only doing CBDCs. There's thousands of projects doing AI, crypto projects, thousands of projects doing gaming projects in the crypto space, thousands of projects doing data, thousands of projects doing DPINs in the crypto space, thousands of projects are doing data projects, thousands of projects are doing Web3 projects inside the crypto space, but only one is doing CBDCs. And the whole world is about to go in CBDCs. And that one crypto project that's doing CBDCs and has a CBDC platform is with the Bank of International Settlements. It's a public document. It's called Cross-Border Payments. Swift, Ripple, they're both on there. I can share that document to anybody that wants it. It's from the Bank of International Settlements. You can go to the website yourself, or you could let me know. I'll share it to you, no problem. I'll share you the document. The whole world is about to go into CBDCs. And the crypto space is worried we won't go into it, or politicians are voting against it, sure. As if a politician's voice even matters. Yeah, the whole anti-CBDC bill is going to get tossed out when the time comes up. Now, here is some interesting news. That it's also is interesting and funny and it gives you a perspective of what the future is going to be. A very long time ago, before I give you this news, because a very long time ago, I told everyone that when people lose, in 2023, on this live show that I do every single night, I told people that people who lose their jobs due to AI somewhere down the road are going to be people who will live in the metaverse to make a wage. I said people who lose their jobs to AI will end up living in the metaverse to make a wage. So then, essentially governments will have full control on you because you'll be sitting there with your metaverse, Apple, I forgot what they're called essentially, but the Meta ones or so on, the Google ones. Google's coming out again with another one. But people who lose their jobs to AI will be living at home with those metaverse glasses on, living in a virtual world and making a wage. That's basically a virtual prison for anyone if they didn't realize it by now. That's what I said in 2023. I said when people lose their jobs to AI, eventually those people will have to live in the metaverse space to make a wage, to make a living. So here's some news of what the future is going to be looking like, living in the metaverse. Of how ridiculous it sounds in your virtual prisons. IKEA. This is not a joke either. It's on IKEA's website. IKEA is hiring UK workers for its new store in Roblox. Now you might be thinking this is probably a gag, this is not real news, or what they're going to be doing. Apparently IKEA is also going to be paying them wages. It's on IKEA's own website. For people to live in Roblox and be IKEA employees in their IKEA store in a digital world, and they're going to get wages hourly. The Swedish store IKEA of home and flat pack furniture, IKEA is hiring people from the United Kingdom and Ireland to assist with running a virtual store in Roblox. This is just a start, and this is just Roblox. Later on, it'll probably be Sand, it'll probably be the other ones, and it'll just grow. This virtual store is a part of the Careers Done Different campaign, which IKEA hopes will demonstrate possible career paths available within the company. Successful candidates will be able to serve meatballs in the store's bistro, because IKEA sells food as well, and help patrons choose furniture in the showroom. As for the pay, IKEA is offering an hourly wage of £13.15, which is about 14 euros, 14 and 80 cents in euros. But you're going to be paid £13.15 an hour, £13.15 an hour, working in an IKEA virtual store in the Metaverse. I mean, this is also what they said. With us, you have the opportunity to move departments, flex your skill, and get promoted in IKEA. So your wages will go from £13.15 an hour to, £15, £20 an hour. You're living in the Metaverse. So you can move departments, you can get a promotion. The applicant, this is real money. They're paying real money, real wages. They're showing career paths that are on the way in the future from starting now. The application website reads, at IKEA, career progression is unique because you can grow in any direction. We believe in recruiting people based on values rather than simply ticking all their right boxes on a CV. To apply, those, because the questions they ask you before they hire you, to apply, those interested will need to answer a range of questions, including the deeply insightful: how do you feel about being turned into a pixel? How do you feel about, in other words, being turned into a pixel, living in a metaverse? Or what furniture would you be? I'm not even joking. These are type of questions they are actually. Applicants would also need to think about what they would do if the bistro ran out of pixelated hot dogs during their shift. So imagine you're serving food, living in the metaverse, you're serving food in IKEA, you're getting paid £13 an hour. So IKEA said, what would you do, for example, if you run out of pixelated hot dogs that you're selling in IKEA? So what's your next move? Do you go and make them? They also said, it's not just IKEA that is using Roblox to expand its reach. Netflix is also coming to Roblox. So sooner or later, you're going to be a Netflix employee living in Roblox. With this streaming giant recently revealing its digital theme park, Netflix is building a digital theme park, the Metaverse, in Roblox. So you're going to become, an employee, for example, of Netflix and their digital theme park on the gaming platform known as Nextworld. This will essentially act as a hub where Plexus areas, characters, and games based on Netflix properties such as Stranger Things and One Piece. So Netflix is doing a themed park where you're going to have characters from Stranger Things and their own TV shows, and you're going to be an employee in the park. Now, look, this would be great for a second income, honestly. Laughing aside and so on, the seriousness, let's put some seriousness into it. If you were looking for a second income, this is not a bad idea for people who are looking for a second income or a third income and so on. You can do this job while sitting in your living room, for example. All you need is some metaverse glasses, and then you can live in the metaverse and earn, a hourly wage. You can sit on your living room couch and make money as an hourly wage. If you want a second, third, fourth job, for example, these are the jobs that are coming right now in the metaverse, where you're going to become virtual employees getting paid hourly. I can't be serious about this. I can't be serious. No, honestly. GP is making me laugh. Miles, stop. My stomach is killing me from laughing. This is a disaster. Camel's laughing. Camel's laughing. I can't be serious about this. But seriously, if you wanted to, no, honestly, if you wanted a second job, if you wanted a third job, these are the jobs that are headed down the road. Now, putting that to one side, what I was also going to say is, I forgot what I was going to say. What I was also going to say, one sec. This, okay, this perfectly aligns with what I said a year ago. 1 year ago, I said that this is the type of jobs that's going to come later on, when people will be actually paid living in the metaverse, because that's the only way they're going to earn a wage, especially if their job's taken over by AI. Now, the positive side is, if you hold cryptocurrencies now, also if you hold XRP, great. If you hold XLM, great. If you hold XDC, great, and so on. If you hold cryptocurrencies now, don't worry, you don't have to work in the metaverse. Okay, so if you hold cryptocurrencies now, later on, you don't have to work in the metaverse. But if you don't hold cryptocurrencies, if you don't have any cryptocurrencies, and CBDCs come, that's going to be your new job. Honestly, if you don't have crypto, because I've always said this, cryptocurrencies or your ticket to freedom. CBDCs the other way around. So if you don't have cryptocurrencies at all, that's going to be people's next jobs if they don't have cryptocurrencies in a CBDC world. They're going to be living as a virtual employee in IKEA and earning an hourly wage, while people who have cryptocurrencies are going to be living a better life. Honestly, I said this last year. I said people who lose their jobs to AI are going to be people that will be living in the metaverse to make a wage. I said this last year. Honestly, everything. By the way, if you're new to this live show, I'm never wrong. Well, almost never wrong. No, actually, I'm never wrong. No, never wrong. I'm not being wrong at all. That's, not a lot of people can say that. Honestly, not a lot of people can say that. But I'm never wrong. I said this last year. Things I say typically come true about a month or so later if it's quick news. If it's long news, about 6 months or 7 months later will come true. Or if it's longer news, about 1 year later will come true. But things I say pretty much happen, pretty much, straight afterwards. And we've reached the endings of tonight's live show as well. I just wanted to leave everybody with some good news, with some funny news at the end of the live show. But yeah, that's where the future is headed. You're going to be living in the metaverse as a virtual employee, earning an hourly wage if you only have CBDCs. But if you have cryptocurrencies, your life is going to be headed somewhere else, in a good path. Ticket to freedom, basically, cryptocurrencies. So, if you don't want to become a virtual employee, get involved inside the crypto space. And in the correct side of crypto space. So if you don't want to become a virtual employee selling pixelated hot dogs, get involved in the crypto space. But yeah, if anybody wants, second jobs and third jobs, not a bad idea for them. If you want a second job, third job, not a bad idea. You're living on you're living on your couch. You're basically sitting on your couch, earning a wage. But yeah, I wanted to end the live show with some laughter towards the end of the live show. That's why I left that news towards the end, so we can go out joyfully at the end of the live show. And also, yeah, the annual license. I have the kick for years from the Bitcoin maxis fools at this. I need support after years of Bitcoin maximization. Mouse, stop by killing me. Let's go. I'm on duty, so help me, Mouse. Stop laughing. I can't be serious about this. And they have to watch for the mystery shop. They have to watch for the mystery shop. I remember you saying this last year. What has the world come to? That was a good laugh. Hey, I'm in the minority. True. XOP. Let's go. Today's news was fire. Let's go, Carol. Good night, Miles and CMF. Nice live. Let's go, Carol. See you tomorrow sometime as usual. Hilarious. Let's go, Jason. Good night, Miles, and all CMF. Thank you for all the great news. I have to go and get my resume together. JP, see you tomorrow, but the same timing as usual. Best regards, Miles. Respect. Let's go, XLP. Den, respect. See you tomorrow, sometimes as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Mike, see you tomorrow, sometimes as usual as well, brother. My man, thanks for all you do. I'll catch you on the flip side. Let's go, Parker. See you next time, Parker. Same time as usual. Good night, Miles, and the good people of the CMF. Peace out and stay blessed, everybody. Brian, let's go. Brian, see you tomorrow, same time as usual as well. If you enjoyed this live show, if you're watching it for the first time ever, drop a follow, drop a like, and drop a comment if you want as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe and tune into it every single night at this exact same time you're watching. This live show starts about 11:25 p.m. onwards, UK time, every single night on X and on YouTube live, on both of them. If you enjoy this live show, drop a follow, drop a like, and tune into it every single night. And we also have a Telegram group as well, which is completely free. Anybody's more than welcome to join us. So, good night, Miles and CMF Coin. See you tomorrow, sometime as usual as well. Take care, all. Ray, let's go. See you tomorrow. Sometimes as usual. Good night, brother. Can't see tomorrow, but we'll see everybody tomorrow. You have enjoyed our Escovix Soppy then. I will see everybody tomorrow. I don't know why the phone is slowing down. Here we go. I will see everybody tomorrow. Same timing as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. See everybody tomorrow. Same time as usual. Everybody have a great day or a good night, depending on where you are around the world. CMF, see you tomorrow, same time as usual. Great live, Miles, as usual. Good night, Miles and CMF. Jason, let's go. See you tomorrow, but the same time as usual. See everybody tomorrow, same time as usual.